already are, here's some safety tips to keep in mind. Go to the lowest level of your home. Hopefully you have a basement. If you don't have a basement though, that's okay. Just go to the lowest level, go to an interior room. It's very important to stay away from windows because there could be some flying debris. You want to keep yourself protected from that. Oftentimes it's good too to kind of cover yourself up with a blanket or a comforter. And if you have like a baseball or a football helmet, that's also good too, because in case there is some flying debris, you can always protect your head by wearing a helmet. So maybe a motorcycle helmet or a football helmet, that could also come in handy. Definitely don't want to be outdoors certainly, but definitely seek shelter immediately if you're under a tornado warning. So again, the atmosphere is certainly prime for the possibility for tornadoes. And as we were mentioning, all of central Illinois right now under a tornado watch, meaning conditions are favorable in and around that watch box so that you might see these tornadoes being spun up. So let's move back into our radar. Let's see what's going on again right now. Our most recent one here with that tornado warning for Cass and Mason counties, that goes evening. And again, we're still seeing a very robust area of thunderstorms very close to the Beardstown area, showers and storms, and there also have been a prolific lightning producer. Let's take a quick look at that if we can take a look. Let's go back here and take a quick look at lightning. I think I'm gonna have to stop this for a moment. Here we go, and let's do this. Zooming in a little bit closer. Quite a bit of lightning as well. I think I zoomed in a little bit too much there, but we definitely have quite a bit of lightning too taking place with these thunderstorms. Very, very active in producing quite a bit of lightning activity throughout the region. Let's now take a closer look here. Here's some of the lightning strikes that we've seen just in the last few minutes. About 80 lightning strikes there, very close to Beardstown and also to around the Virginia area. So a lot of lightning. We've had some very gusty winds and of course tornadoes. So again, we have our tornado warning that continues right now for Cass and Mason counties until 9:45. So we've been seeing some very busy activity here. Let's put this back into motion now. And we are seeing these thunderstorms again charging off to the north and east. A lot of activity. We've also seen concerns with hail. Now these thunderstorms originated back over across Missouri, and we had several reports too of some large hail in that general area. But here we go for Beardstown. Let's take a look now at the velocity mode. We can see if there's going to be some more circulation here. Here we go with the velocity mode. And then we'll take this back over the last several scans. And it does appear to be that there's still some circulation, especially coming out of the Beardstown area and now working its way up towards the Chandlerville. Let me kind of stop that here. You can kind of have to look really closely, but what we look at here for a meteorologist perspective, you look at how the wind profile is behaving. When the winds are coming towards the radar site, they're shaded in green. When the winds are going away from the radar site, they're red. And we are seeing this couplet of different colors here. So that indicates that circulation. So it's basically right now just to the east of Beardstown, but working its way over towards Chandlerville. That is that circulation, and hence we still have our tornado warning right now in effect. Again, this is Doppler radar. It's indicated by the radar, not necessarily confirmed by an actual trained weather spotter, but it's still, needless to say, it's something to take seriously. We've got the circulation that's taking place that could be very conducive for damage. So you want to make sure that you definitely seek shelter. You don't want to be outdoors when there's a tornado warning. Now's the time to seek shelter. So again, for Cass and Mason County, right now under an active tornado warning until 9:45. But on top of that too, there's a concern too, as radar has been indicating, there could be some large hail as well. Here's a bigger picture. And we have severe thunderstorm warnings too, also in effect for many areas. Here's some of the tornado or severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. They've been quite active as well throughout the region. And I'll take a closer look at some of the counties impacted by that. Many more counties are under this severe thunderstorm warning. Multiple counties, in fact. The latest warnings right now, Menard, Scott, Sangamon County, so that does include now Sangamon County, at least western parts of the viewing areas, western Sangamon County, Cass, Schuyler, Mason, and Morgan counties currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's not a tornado warning, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning, and that goes until 10:30. We've seen this line of very strong thunderstorms extending from near Chandlerville over towards Winchester, and it is moving to the northeast at 65 miles per hour. So let's zoom in a little bit closer with that. Again, around the stronger thunderstorms are still just to the west of Springfield, not quite there reaching the capital just yet, but we've got a whole slew of counties right now under a severe thunderstorm warning. And as we've seen around the Beardstown area, any of these thunderstorms are certainly capable where they could spin up a tornado. So you can see this large swath, multiple counties right now under this severe thunderstorm warning, and that does include western parts of Sangamon County, not quite Springfield just yet, but it's just knocking at our back door. And there's the line that we're really watching very closely, though, coming out of Beardstown, because it was that batch of thunderstorms that actually prompted the tornado warning, and that tornado warning still comes into effect here for the next few minutes. That tornado warning there for Cass counties still goes in effect here for about the next 10 minutes or so. Let's go back to our tornado warning. There it is. The Cass and Mason counties right now under the tornado warning as the stronger thunderstorms are working over towards Chandlerville, and they're also capable of producing some hail as well. Let's go back farther to the south. We have yet again more tornado warnings, again coming up out of the St. Louis area where these thunderstorms have been very, very robust, very intense. And these thunderstorms here towards the south have also been prompting some severe thunderstorm warnings. And there's the tornado warning, though, from around the St. Louis, and that does clip some of our viewing area. Those counties included under this tornado warning would include Jersey and Macoupin counties, and that tornado warning goes into effect until 10:30. So we have multiple counties right now under either severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. It's a very, very active situation, very fluid, and you can see our main squall line still remains very, very intense out there. The squall line is running from just to the west of Peoria right now, skirting right across our western counties and working all the way down towards St. Louis. And here's some of the worst conditions right around St. Louis. They've been getting clobbered. Some really potent thunderstorms there, but all along this line of thunderstorms, it will not be uncommon to see damaging wind gusts, some hail, and of course, too, we can see these isolated tornadoes being spun up, and that'll be the case over the next several hours as the atmosphere is still very prime and very conducive for the possibility for more very, very energetic, more vigorous thunderstorms throughout the region. Just a reminder now that we are still under a tornado watch, and that means conditions are favorable in and around the watch area for these violent thunderstorms that are certainly capable of producing tornadoes, but also to other forms of severe weather like large hail and very strong wind gusts. So we've got a multitude of problems going on here across the region. Speaking of wind gusts, over the last few minutes, those have really been picking up around the area. Earlier today, we had peak winds, at least around Springfield, that were clocked around 60 miles per hour, and those winds are still howling out there. Even where we don't have the active thunderstorms taking place, the winds are still coming in pretty strong here. We're seeing the winds right now around Champaign, around 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts there, and typically we had 35 to 45-mile-per-hour winds even across the eastern part of the state where the thunderstorms haven't even reached this area yet. So we've got the strong winds coming in. Wicked winds will continue through tonight, but they're going to be compounded by the fact that we've got the thunderstorms coming in, and that will only help to make the winds even worse. So there's our line of thunderstorms coming in from west to east. Just a reminder that we still have tornado warnings in effect. The counties mainly impacted right now are Cass and Mason counties. A tornado warning that remains in effect until 9:45, so about the next 10 minutes or so for that particular tornado warning. It looks like the cells are still holding together. Maybe the lightning not quite as prolific as what it was, but we're still seeing some lightning in association with these thunderstorms. Some pretty stronger ones here near Beardstown and also just to the west of Petersburg. And these thunderstorms are moving very quickly to the north and east at about 60 miles per hour. Then farther to the south, we're seeing more rather strong thunderstorms right now near Carrollton, but not really prompting any severe, or not really a tornado warning. The actual other tornado warning is farther to the south, and that's very close to St. Louis, but it does impact part of our viewing area, like around Jersey and Macoupin County, still under a tornado warning. This one remains in effect a little bit longer. It stays in effect till 10:15 for this evening. So a lot of busy weather now taking place here across the heart of Illinois as these thunderstorms continue to rumble in from west to east. So we are watching the situation very closely. Again, just a reminder, if you are in an area where a tornado warning does get issued, keep in mind some of these safety tips. Here's some of the tips to keep in mind: that you definitely want to go to the lowest level of your home, go into the basement if you have a basement, and you want to go to an interior room because you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So get away from the windows, because if those windows blow out, flying glass, flying debris, that could be very dangerous. So go into an interior room and make sure that you kind of duck underneath a sturdy piece of furniture to help protect yourself. And it's always a good idea too to maybe wrap yourself in a comforter or blanket to kind of protect yourself from flying debris. And if you have like a football helmet or maybe a motorcycle helmet, that too can help you in case some debris falls from up above. At least your head would be protected. And of course, too, as we were mentioning, if you live in a mobile home, mobile homes are not really a very sturdy structure, so you want to like abandon that mobile home and go to a sturdier place, a place that's more substantial to help protect yourself from the elements. So some busy weather certainly taking place here across central Illinois as we're tracking a nasty squall line that continues to charge in from west to east, working its way across the region. And with that squall line, we are seeing some capability of certainly seeing some isolated tornadoes around the area. So you can see our main batch is still running from very close to Peoria, just to the west of Peoria, down towards around Jacksonville, and all the way down towards St. Louis. We've had multiple tornado warnings right around the St. Louis area. As these thunderstorms sweep off to the north and east, they've been clipping at least some parts of our viewing area. So our southern fringes of our viewing area here near St. Louis, it's been basically, let me put the tracker on here. Now we are seeing more information regarding this, that this is actually now being confirmed, they're saying. So let's get some information here. Okay, tornado warning remains in effect for Jersey and Macoupin County and Madison counties here in southwestern Illinois. A confirmed tornado now was located near Florissant, moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Besides the threat for tornadoes, damaging winds are also a possibility, and also two ping pong ball size hail is being Doppler radar indicated as well. So large hail, and also too the possibility for more tornadoes to be spun up. But right now it seems like the radar is showing that there was an actual confirmed tornado near Florissant moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. So some very rough weather here down towards the south. And we still have our other tornado warning, I believe, unless it's going to be, well, should be remaining in effect here for another about 7 minutes or so. We'll see what the National Weather Service does with that. But in the meantime, we still have a tornado warning as well for Cass and Mason counties. This one was Doppler radar indicated that there's some circulation taking place there, along with the possibility for some smaller hail and some gusty winds as well. So that's our main squall line right now, working its way across the state, working in from west to east. It has yet to be impacting Springfield. We've had some gusty winds, but it's been outside and independent of where the thunderstorms are actually taking place. But our winds too have been picking up here around Sangamon County and around Springfield. But right now the storms, or at least the stronger storms, are just knocking at our back door, not too far away. Let's put a tracker on this line of thunderstorms and we'll see where they might be moving in the next several minutes. These storms are moving very quickly though. They are moving off to the north and east at about 60 miles per hour. So with that being said, this is what our tracker is showing, that these storms would be blasting into Havana about 9:39. Springfield right around 10 o'clock or shortly thereafter 10 o'clock, we might be seeing some of these thunderstorms moving in as well. Lincoln at 10:20 and then South Fork about 10:24. So yeah, we've got still ways to go with these thunderstorms because they have just now worked their way across the western part of the state. And the hope is, and the thinking is, that these thunderstorms will be weakening as they continue to the west or work their way to the east. So as they work from west to east, hopefully they'll be weakening before they approach the I-57 corridor. But at this point, we're still seeing some pretty intense weather taking place here. Again, our tornado warning right now that continues not too far from Beardstown. It is in effect for Cass and Mason counties until 9:45 for tonight. And then farther to the south, we've had another tornado warning, and this is again for Jersey and Madison, or Jersey and Macoupin County, I should say. That's in part of our viewing area. Some of these other counties are part of the St. Louis metro area, not viewing area, but there's been an actual confirmed tornado in this region. And Doppler radar has been indicating a tornado was sighted very close to Florissant, and it's been moving to the north and east at 55 miles per hour. And these thunderstorms too around St. Louis, they've also had a history of producing some large hail the size of ping pong ball sized hailstones. So a lot of problems are taking place here across central Illinois. Again, just a reminder that we are still in a prime position to see more rough weather as the evening wears on. Officially, all of central Illinois, where you see those shades of yellow, all those counties in yellow, that is a tornado watch that stays in effect until 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's going to be taking place now through the overnight hours on into the wee morning hours on Saturday, that tornado watch in effect until 3 o'clock. Okay, so we're going to be doing some tag team coverage of our severe weather, and right now we're going to toss it over to our sister station with Darren Leeds, and he's got more regarding our tornado coverage. Darren?
Yeah, and Cheryl, just like you said, we've still got that tornado warning for Cass and Mason County really only in effect for about the next 5 minutes or so. But as you pointed out, we were absolutely picking up rotation on radar. Now it does look like that rotation has kind of started to fizzle out. We were watching that cell kind of slowly work its way just east of Beardstown, but into far western Mason County, just west of Chandlerville. Now we're not really seeing a lot of that mixing happening. It's just everything seems to be flowing towards the radar. You can see with our shades of green here, but definitely we had that little pocket where we were seeing some reds and some grays, so definitely a good indication that there is rotation within that storm cell in itself. And yes, we have been seeing those hailstones get around an inch in size for a few of those warnings that we've seen here locally in central Illinois, but a lot of those stronger cells that have been off to our south, specifically down closer to that St. Louis metro area, like you mentioned, Cheryl, hail sizes close to 1.5 inches, and we have even seen a couple of those cells, those stronger ones, producing those hail sizes closer to 2 inches. So yes, absolutely, very much could cause some damage, not to mention the winds that we're seeing. And then we couple in that tornadic threat as well. And actually heard reports that the CBS station down in St. Louis actually was sheltering in place. As you can see, we've got that shade of pink down there. So that is a tornado emergency, meaning there is a confirmed tornado on the ground. So hopefully the folks down at CBS St. Louis are all doing well. But yeah, we're going to jump around central Illinois and we're going to show you what else we are currently tracking. But just like Cheryl mentioned, these storms have been kind of knocking on our door for about the last hour or so, and finally we're beginning to see them progress their way into our central Illinois counties. Jacksonville area, I know I've been getting a lot of questions from folks over there, but it looks like you guys are now starting to see that rain pick up, probably hearing the thunder and lightning out there, and these storms have already been producing 70-mile-per-hour winds. This is the current cell that is triggering that severe thunderstorm warning over around Cass, Morgan, and Scott counties. And we are currently picking up hail sizes around 1 inch in diameter, 70-mile-per-hour winds. But yes, considerable threat, especially when you factor in those damaging straight line winds. Again, now is the time where we want you guys to start kind of thinking about possibly going into your safe shelter space, especially since we have seen those tornado warnings start to pop up embedded in this line of thunderstorms that we've been forecasting for the last couple of days. But yes, now we're starting to see a few more of those tornado warnings pop up. This one just outside the Illinois River area to the southwest of Peoria. But the storms definitely very potent and very wind driven. And as Cheryl was talking about earlier, our winds throughout the day today, very gusty coming in out of the south. And we were kind of expecting that those winds would help to kind of contribute with the dynamics of just this line of thunderstorms and kind of stir things up a little bit more and kind of trigger that atmosphere to a little bit more unstable. Let's take a look at some of our storm reports so far. Most of those tornado confirmations to the southwest of the St. Louis metro area. But as we see, yes, there have been a couple confirmed tornadoes in and around St. Louis itself, and now those are starting to push their way into parts of central Illinois. We've got Macoupin County, which is just on the fringe of that region and on the fringe of that tornado emergency polygon. But yes, these cells pushing their way slowly to the north and east, and it will be maybe about another hour or so before we all start to kind of get impacted by these a little bit as well. But absolutely, most of the reports that we've been seeing around central Illinois have been primarily winds, wind damage, and wind gust speeds. Closer to the Springfield area, we can take a look at what we're seeing with some of these localized storm reports, 59-mile-per-hour winds, and those are non-storm winds here in the Springfield area. So this is what we were picking up out at the airport earlier today, and very significant because typically 59-mile-per-hour winds, that'd be enough to even just trigger a severe thunderstorm warning in itself if we get some thunder, lightning, and winds of that equivalent and even a little bit higher. But very powerful system, and it does still look like those storms bringing in even stronger winds to kind of accompany that hail threat and also that tornadic threat, because as we've seen, a few of those tornadic cells are embedded within that line of storm. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other storm reports that we're seeing around parts of central Illinois so far. We haven't seen any reports of funnels, but like me and Cheryl were talking about, over around Cass, Mason County, we did see that radar indicated rotation that was between Chandlerville and the Beardstown area, but that has since diminished. So some of our other storm reports in and around parts of Menard County, utility pole snapped by non-thunderstorm winds. And those were just our winds that we had funneling through the day, not even including the storm winds that we've been seeing. Let's take a look at northwestern Menard County. Park Pavilion collapsed due to non-thunderstorm winds. So these winds, very much the driving force behind a lot of this significant weather that we're anticipating impacting all of central Illinois for the next several hours. And we can even see like where we are getting rotation within that line of thunderstorms. And it does look like this squall line producing quite a bit of rotation if we kind of look just west of Peoria and all the way south down towards this metro area. Yes, we start to see those spinning, circulating arrows, whether they be orange, looks like it just kind of died off south of Jacksonville, but into red. And yes, definitely indicating that we are seeing some pretty strong rotation within those clouds, those storms capable of producing a tornado. But so far, we have kind of seen that threat avoid our central Illinois counties, but storms still very much packing quite a punch along with them, with the winds and even with those hail reports that we've kind of been seeing as well. At least around an inch is what we've been seeing throughout central Illinois so far over about the last half hour or so. But we've got a lot more of it because these storms, like we've been talking about, just starting to kind of push their way into our respective viewing area, and they've got a long way to go. They're going to be pushing their way past 55 over around Decatur, Taylorville, Effingham, Vandalia, over towards 57, Champaign, Mattoon, Effingham. And we're going to be seeing Danville eventually into the very wee morning hours of Saturday. So dealing with these storms for probably about the next 3 to 4 hours is what we've been forecasting. But they are moving very quickly. So once we do initially start to see these storms, we're going to deal with them for an hour, hour and a half, give or take, but fast moving. And once we get past it, we will be in the clear as we look forward into the rest of this evening. But yes, let's take another look at that cell that's rotating just to the southwest of Macoupin County, because that one's kind of got my attention so far. And of course, that is where we are seeing that tornado emergency. So pink polygon tornado emergency. If you are in southern Macoupin County, this is when you want to get to your safe place, the most interior portion of your home or of your business. Put as many layers between you and the outside as you possibly can. Protect yourself from flying debris. Avoid windows. Broken glass is a leading cause of injuries. But yes, it does appear we have an observed tornado. And let's get some information on that here that I can pass along to you. So tornado warning in effect until 10:15, 25 more minutes for southeastern Jersey, southwestern Macoupin, and western Madison counties. Now, at 9:46, so about 5 minutes ago, a confirmed tornado was located over West Alton and moving northeast, 55 miles per hour. We have reports of ping pong ball sized hail. That puts that hail around 1.5 inches in diameter, which is what we're getting from that storm report right there. But weather spotters did confirm that we do have a tornado on the ground. currently near Alton, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Locations that will likely be impacted: St. Louis, Granite City, Alton, Edwardsville, Godfrey, Glen Carbon, Bellefontaine, Wood River, and we will likely see that same cell pushing its way into the Litchfield area. Looks like it's going to just kind of go south of Carlinville, but continue with that northeasterly track. So this is the current cell that we're keeping our eye on right now, because once again, it is a tornado emergency. There is a confirmed tornado on the ground embedded in this line of thunderstorms. It has been producing 1.5-inch sized hail, and it is moving very quickly at 55 miles per hour, and it is moving northeast, so it is tracking here into central Illinois. Once again, southwestern Macoupin County. If you are in southwestern Macoupin County or even central Macoupin County and in Montgomery County, this is when you are going to want to get into your safe space. Looks like we just happened to lose that tornado confirmation, meaning maybe it started to weaken a little bit, but we are still picking up on some rotation. Where are we? So this is the area that we're looking at. So we talked about Alton. Looks like it's just past the Alton area. This is what we're looking at right here, just to the northeast of Alton. You see that green embedded inside of all of this red. Red is moving away from St. Louis's radar. Green is moving back towards St. Louis's radar. So very large area of circulation, currently just south of Macoupin County. So if it's moving at 55 miles per hour, and we can get a pretty good idea on its exact shape here, then we can estimate when it is going to reach some of our central Illinois communities. So, Brighton, Dorsey, probably in the next couple of minutes. Brighton around 10 o'clock. Dorchester, 10:11. Gillespie, 10:19. Brushy Mound, 10:24. Carlinville, around 10:29. So you've got about 35 minutes, Carlinville, before this is working its way towards you guys. And once again, we have seen a confirmed tornado out of this cell. We are still picking up on some fairly strong rotation with this cell. We have been picking up on 1.5-inch sized hail. And yes, it is dark outside. It is hard to see, especially when we have the rain encompassed in there as well. Rain-wrapped tornadoes, very hard to see. Make sure you are getting into your safe place right now, Macoupin County. We have a tornado that has been confirmed. So again, get yourself into the most interior portion of your home or your business, whether it's a hallway, closet, stairwell, bathroom. If you have a basement, that is going to be the best place to get. Again, we've been picking up on 1.5-inch size hail, ping pong ball size, and we have been seeing several reports of confirmed tornadoes within that same cell. So Macoupin County, once again, just to reiterate, that tornadic cell is coming through. It is just to the south of Macoupin County currently. You have time still to get to your safe place. I'm going to throw things back over to Cheryl for now, but we will continue to ride out these storms and keep you updated for the remainder of the evening.
And of course, we would be normally starting our 10 o'clock newscast here in a few minutes, but instead of that, because we have this active severe weather situation going on right now across the region, a big severe weather outbreak, we're going to continue with our severe weather coverage. And I do believe we have our Spencer Davis out there. He's been kind of covering some of the storms around the region, and we'll be going to him live here shortly just to see how things are shaping up here in Sangamon County. In the meantime, a new tornado warning has just been issued, and this is for Mason County. Now, this has been not necessarily actually indicated by a trained spotter, but this is Doppler radar indicated a tornado, and it looks as if this confirmed Well, now they're saying, let's see, let me take a closer look at this. Yeah, this is not necessarily a actual confirmed sighting. It is Doppler radar indicated, and it's showing that a severe thunderstorm capable of producing both tornadoes and damaging straight line winds was located very close to Easton, or about 9 miles north of Petersburg, and it is moving very quickly at 50 miles per hour. So our latest tornado warning right now is for Mason County. It's very, very critical and very important that if you live in Mason County, please seek shelter immediately. You'll want to go to the lowest level of your home, stay away from windows, because of course a lot of injuries take place when you have the flying debris, flying glass. You can get a lot of injuries taking place because of that. So stay away from windows, go to the lowest level of your home, and go to an interior room. Again, I believe we have Spencer Davis out there covering some of these nasty thunderstorms working through Illinois. Let's go back to Spencer to see what's going on out there right now. There we go.
Springfield, and again, you can see some light rain coming through at the moment. But again, we're not seeing anything too crazy. The wind has really died down. That's one thing I've noticed. I mean, you can almost see coming through the frame here. The rain's falling almost completely straight down vertically. But again, like Darren and Cheryl have both been saying, this storm is moving very quickly. That is going to change shortly, as they've been talking about as well. So again, if you can get to your safe area, start heading that way. Make sure you have plenty of food and water, some snacks, some blankets. Make sure you have some flashlights if, again, the power goes out or anything like that. And again, you can keep tracking the CWLP if you're living here in Springfield. You can track their website and see outages if you are affected as well. But for now, Cheryl, Darren, back to you guys in the studio. I'm Spencer Davis reporting live.
All right, thanks a lot, Spencer. We appreciate that update. So again, right now we're tracking this very impressive squall line that continues to blast in from west to east. We've been monitoring this over the last several hours or so. It originated back over parts of Missouri, and it's been holding its own, working its way steadily off to the east, and it's moving very quickly at speeds close to 50 miles per hour. And within this impressive squall line, we have been seeing some isolated tornadoes being spun off. And we've had a couple warnings, at least so far for this evening. And our most recent one is impacting Mason County. So there's a tornado warning right now in effect for the area now just to the south and east of Havana. We're seeing that's warning now for Mason County. And again, Doppler radar is indicating there's some circulation very close to this region here. And so we do have this warning in effect for Mason County. We are seeing both the possibility of tornadoes being spun up very close to Easton, which is about 9 miles north of Petersburg. So let's put this into perspective here, and we'll take a look at the velocity mode. We'll kind of see an idea as where the circulation might be taking place. So again, this is for Mason County. We're looking at circulation developing here. And typically from our radar perspective, what we like to look at, we like to see the different color shades there. Whenever there's red colors, that means the winds are going away from the radar site. The green color means the winds are going towards the radar site. So there does appear to be some circulation not too far from Mason City. So again, our severe thunderstorm, our tornado warning, I should say, remains in effect now until 10:30 for this evening. And then we have some tornadic activity too down to the south. Let's put this back into a radar perspective here. Okay, the other warning was down here towards Macoupin County, down to the south, very close to St. Louis. Here we've actually had some confirmed tornadoes being sighted as well. So it's a very small area here, a tornado warning that continues right there for the southern part of Macoupin County as these thunderstorms continue to move to the northeast. We've also noticed too that there's a lot of very impressive heavy downpours, some very gusty winds, and quite a bit of vivid lightning. And of course, we'll continue that. We'll go now with our newscast here starting up at 10.
Live from our studio in Springfield, you're watching News Channel 20 at 10.
Coming up on News Channel 20, a mix of stormy weather and high winds moving through central Illinois right now. What you need to know to stay safe.
Plus, firefighters have been responding to calls all day due to that wind. What they advise is for residents.
And local veterans protesting President Trump's cuts to the Department of Veterans Affairs. Their message to lawmakers. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Central Illinois now under a tornado watch.
Yes,
Parts in a warning.
Exactly. We are bringing you team coverage. Our Spencer Davis was outside with the conditions right now. But first, we want to head right back to Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke because there are some warnings in our viewing area.
Yeah, this has been a rapidly developing situation. We went from hardly anything earlier, and now the thunderstorms are popping up right and left. And on top of that, too, we've seen some tornadoes being spun off from this impressive squall line. So our main batch of thunderstorm activity right now, very close to Peoria, stretching all the way down here along the I-55 corridor, all the way down towards around Godfrey and St. Louis. And within that impressive squall line, we have been seeing these isolated tornadoes being spun off. So right now, not quite reaching Springfield just yet. There is a severe thunderstorm warning, though, over the western part of Sangamon County right now under a severe thunderstorm warning. So conditions are still very much primed to see some intense weather. And then we have our tornado warning right now just to the west of Lincoln. That is impacting Mason County. Our tornado warning still in effect, and this goes for the next several minutes. Let me kind of get a closer look at this as we see here. We do have that tornado warning in effect now. That is for Mason County. And earlier today, the radar was indicating a possible tornado that was forming very close to the Easton area, about 9 miles north of Petersburg, and that was moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour, and that is what prompted this tornado warning. So watch out because there could be some flying debris. You definitely want to make sure that you seek shelter immediately. On top of the threat for tornadoes, very strong damaging wind gusts are a possibility. We've seen some of these thunderstorms producing winds well over 70 miles per hour. And also, too, there could be some large quarter-size hailstones, at least with that particular cell. Let's put a tracker on this particular cell here. Again, very close to the Easton area. Let me zoom in a little bit better here. Okay, there we go. And we're going to put a tracker on this cell. It's moving to the northeast very quickly. We've seen this all evening long. These thunderstorms are moving very rapidly, so putting a tracker on these thunderstorms, they should be moving over towards Delavan around 10:26, then also to around Elm Grove at 10:35. So these thunderstorms are charging off to the northeast. Currently, we have that tornado warning in effect for Mason County. Now, at least around the Springfield area, don't see any tornadic activity, but we have been seeing some very strong winds and also too some frequent vivid lightning. Zooming in here, you can see a lot of prolific lightning taking place throughout this entire region. And we're going to see how much lightning strikes we have been seeing. Quite a bit here. As it shows, let's see. Let's see what this is showing here. There we go. We can see nearly 100 lightning strikes around this region. So it's just to the west of Springfield. We're hearing the rumble of thunder right now outside the studio. Very, very strong thunderstorms taking place in just a whole swath of counties right now under severe thunderstorm warnings. And we were talking about the possibility of tornadoes. So over the last few minutes, yeah, we have seen some new tornado warnings being issued. This whole area, all the counties now shaded in yellow, indicates where we have a tornado watch in effect. So all of central Illinois is in prime position to see these really intense thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are certainly capable of producing isolated tornadoes, but also to very strong damaging wind gusts and the chance to see some large hail. And now we've actually seen that severe thunderstorm warning area actually expanding. So it does include all of Sangamon County, which does include Springfield and Chatham and around the Curran area. We're also now under the severe thunderstorm warning. So we're seeing these areas expanding as the line of thunderstorms continues to charge off towards the east. So let's take a closer look at this on our radar perspective. Thunderstorms are just popping up right and left. Very, very active activity this evening for sure. These thunderstorms are very, very intense and very powerful. We're hearing the rumble of thunder right now. So as you can see, Springfield getting clobbered, some very strong thunderstorms. Auburn, Taylorville, a heads up for you because it's going to be working towards you very shortly. And these thunderstorms continue around Carlinville and East Gillespie all the way down towards Hillsborough. Now, we talked about the tornado warnings. We still have that tornado warning effect for southern Macoupin County till 10:15, so about another 10 more minutes or so. These thunderstorms, at least earlier, there were confirmed tornadoes near the St. Louis metro area, and that's what prompted that latest tornado warning there around southern Macoupin County. So they're still under the gun, so to speak. And then we have our tornado warning 2 up here in Mason County. That goes until 10:30, until the bottom of the hour. So A nasty line of storms here very quickly working towards the east. Haven't seen anything just yet for Champaign or Mattoon or around Decatur just yet, but these thunderstorms are knocking at your back door. They've been working steadily from west to east, and we will be seeing more activity continuing to unfold. You can take a look at our latest tower cam there. A lot of raindrops on the tower camera lens there because it is raining pretty good right now for Springfield, and we've got those strong winds to boot. Speaking of winds, let's take a closer look at some of the wind gusts that we've seen here in the last few minutes. Winds right now close to 50 miles per hour at Springfield. Earlier today, even before the thunderstorms rolled in, we had winds up to 60 miles per hour. So these winds are not wasting any time. They are really, really quite intense. Wind gusts in the last few minutes around 45 miles per hour for Decatur and well over 40 miles per hour too for Champaign. So thunderstorms, and we've got the threat for tornadoes as well. Tornado warnings continue, as we were mentioning right now, for Mason County and also too for extreme southwestern parts of Macoupin County. And here's some safety tips to keep in mind if you're under an active tornado warning. Take it seriously. If there's a warning that's going off in your area, you want to go to the lowest level of your home, go into the basement area if you have a basement. If you don't, go into an interior room downstairs, and also make sure that you're protecting yourself and crawl underneath a sturdy piece of furniture, maybe a workbench, so to speak. Crawl underneath a sturdy piece of furniture and make sure that you cover yourself up and protect yourself in case there is some flying debris, flying glass. There's always a lot of injuries because of flying glass. So you want to stay away from windows, and you might want to cover yourself with a blanket or a comforter, or perhaps too, if you have like a football helmet, that's always good too in case there's debris falling from up above. So protect yourself from any debris. And again, go to an interior room and stay away from windows. These thunderstorms continue to work their way from west to east, so they're producing quite a bit of activity.
I just wanted to give you a little bit of a break. I was going to come on in and
Okay.
help you out because you've been talking for hours now. Just wanted to, a little update on, Springfield. You said we have dealt with a lot of the wind. You said there was 59-mile-an-hour winds that was clocked, I believe, at the airport today. So we have already had our share. Our Spencer Davis has been out and about. Our photographer Amber's been dealing with a lot of the wind damage that has also sparked some of the fires in the area. And so we've been out on the scene. As of now, I've got the outage map for CWLP, and it looks like only, a couple hundred customers right now, but there have been some of those limbs that have come down, and I know they were trying to get ahead of it, but we kind of are in the brunt, as you can see.
Yeah, it's hard to stay up on top of things because it's evolving so quickly and things are changing very, very quickly at a rapid rate. And again, these thunderstorms, we've been watching this and we've been talking about it now for days, the possibility for severe weather.
And it's here.
It's coming. Yeah,
it is
here.
And it seems like a lot of people have been paying attention. A lot of people getting in the basements, paying attention to those, heeding that tornado watch. Now, if you are any advice for people, I mean, you can hear the thunder right out here. It's very, very rainy. I mean, I guess the only good thing is a lot of people are not on the road right now.
Yeah, so hopefully you're already in that safe place in case you are under a tornado warning, want to get into that safe place, and hopefully you've gone over those safety plans even before things got active this evening. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. We're just now into the severe weather season.
Yes, and of course, let us know if you have if there are reports of damage or any pictures safely from your home. Send them to us. We're going to be sharing some of those on social map. Sorry, trying to hear as we hear the rain, right, too. So, there's a lot. We saw some of the wind damage earlier today of some of the things that were not quite tied down, the furniture that were blowing all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, these winds are going to stay pretty wicked for a while longer, but you add that on top of the wind speeds. The storm system is moving along very quickly, so you have that forward momentum with the storms themselves, coupled with just the strong winds that we've had already. It can really cause havoc.
It seems like it was kind of an unprecedented. You see there on the map, that's the outage map. Very few outages as of now, but this is just
commits the personal.
Here we are. We're here. This is just going to our outage map as the storm is just now coming into Springfield or going through. But kind of unprecedented, the alert that there could be 80 to 100 mile wind gusts today.
So Stacey, I did read a report earlier, like around Macomb, which was just outside of our viewing area. There they did actually have winds up to 81 miles per hour.
I mean, is that hurricane strength?
Yes,
okay.
Hurricane. To be a hurricane, it has to be 74 miles per hour or higher. So we've already exceeded that. So we were talking about that. And even beforehand, too, the Storm Prediction Center was talking talking about some of these thunderstorms are certainly capable of producing maybe wind gusts between 80, even upwards to 100 miles per hour.
Wow.
And again, we've seen that playing out at least around the Macomb area where the winds indeed were up to 81 miles per hour today.
And I heard Darren earlier talking, I believe there was some hail in some areas, inch and a half hail.
Yeah, we had reports too. I was around Calhoun, again, just outside, just flanking our viewing area. Calhoun County had actually wind or hail the size of ping pong ball size hail.
Okay.
So yeah, we can have large hail. We can have certainly the very strong wind gusts, and of course isolated tornadoes. And even though we're under a tornado watch for the entire area, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to see a tornado. We have to keep that in mind whenever these watches and warnings get
And that's
issued.
what we always have to reiterate to viewers, because we do have an area that reaches from the Illinois River all the way to Indiana. And so we do hear that from viewers of, why are you interrupting basketball or why are you interrupting this, show? But you have to, because this is about safety.
Yeah, we are covering a large, expansive area of real estate here, so not everybody's going to be seeing the same type of weather. But our main goal is to make sure that you folks are staying safe. So we're going to be doing whatever we can to make sure that you get the latest watches and warnings so that you can be prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws our way. And again, we've been seeing the busy weather, and we still have tornado warnings in effect. And our latest tornado warning continues to be up here, just to the north of Lincoln. This is a tornado warning now. That's for Tazewell County. So the one that was for Mason, I believe they let that one expire. But still, from our southern vantage point here, as we go to some of our southern counties, they are still actually under a tornado warning. So that would be, I have to go back over here. It's southern parts of Macoupin County. Officially, they are still under a tornado warning for about the next 3 minutes. It goes till 10:15, but that's for Jersey, Macoupin, and Madison counties until 10:15. That is the tornado warning. But even outside of where the tornadoes are taking place, you can look at this nasty squall line. You can hear the thunder right now. I mean, it's just producing all sorts of active weather this evening between the strong winds, the tornadoes, the gusty winds and hail. We've been seeing all sorts of active weather for tonight for sure. Let's take a closer look at our radar now from the Springfield area. Again, lots of lightning and thunder. Most of the lightning right now just to the west of Springfield. We're going to be seeing more coming in from west to east as this line continues to rumble off towards the east. And it's moving very quickly. We've been seeing this whole squall line moving at speeds close to 60 miles per hour. So it is not wasting any time. And the good news, this is going to be kind of a one and done thing. Once this line gets through our area over the next couple of hours, that'll be it. We will start to see some drier skies coming in before dawn tomorrow. But unfortunately, the winds are going to still stick around for a little while longer. We still have some gusty winds on tap for tomorrow, but at least the threat for severe thunderstorms, that will be over and done with once we get past tonight. But here's what we have going on right now. Still, we have severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Those are in the area shaded in red, so it's mainly up around the Peoria area that's still under a tornado warning. And we have that southern county there, southwestern portion of Macoupin County still under an active tornado warning. And then the areas in yellow, well, that indicates where we have a tornado watch. And there's a difference between a watch and a warning. A warning means an actual tornado has either been sighted by a trained weather spotter or else actually indicated by radar. But the watch means conditions are favorable for a tornado to be forming in and around those areas. So we do have all of central Illinois still officially under this tornado watch until 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we're still fair game to see these nasty thunderstorms popping up. And where you see the shades of red, that's where we have actually tornado warnings in effect. And the shades of orange here, that's severe thunderstorm warnings. And those two can be very potent too, as these thunderstorms have been capable of producing very strong wind gusts into some large hailstones. So you name it, we have it happening tonight. A variety of weather concerns and issues still going on. So let's take a closer look at the radar once again to see what we have going on. Now, still at this juncture in time, we have our tornado warning right now for, this is extreme eastern Mason County. That goes until 10:34 this evening. Now, luckily, it looks as if the situation's weakening here, where these thunderstorms are not looking quite as impressive as they did. But then farther to the north, just outside of our viewing area, there is that tornado warning right now for Tazewell County, and that goes in effect until 10:45 for tonight. Meanwhile, though, we still have a whole slew of counties under severe thunderstorm warnings. Here's just a sample of some of these counties. That does include eastern Menard, Logan County, western Christian County, Sangamon County, Tazewell, McLean, and also two Mason counties still all under severe thunderstorm warnings until 11 o'clock. Thunderstorms continue to develop very quickly here, and they are moving very fast. They are moving at speeds close to 60 miles per hour to the north and east. And so some other communities that will likely be impacted by these severe thunderstorms will be Mason City, Middletown, San Jose, Delavan, Chatham, Green Valley, Pekin, Sherman, Springfield, you're all in line to see these stronger thunderstorms as they continue to blast in from west to east. So here's a bigger picture of this. So again, just a whole nasty squall line that continues to run from Peoria all the way down to just east of St. Louis. So multiple counties right now under severe thunderstorm warnings, and also too, on top of that, we've had some tornado warnings too that continue at this point. So officially, at least for our viewing area, the one that was from Macoupin County, they let that one expire. And so right now, the only active severe thunder or tornado warning that we have is still for eastern Mason County. But that one appears like it doesn't show as much circulation as it did before, so I wouldn't be surprised if that one kind of is allowed to expire here very shortly as well. But a big, impressive line of storms still blasting into the area. So if you live in Lincoln, Springfield, Taylorville too, it's coming your way. Heads up for those of you in Decatur, not quite reaching you just yet, but it will be very shortly. As this whole line, it continues to charge towards the east, and it is moving very quickly, as we were mentioning, moving at speeds nearly 60 miles per hour. So let's take a tracker on these thunderstorms. Again, right now it's just mainly west of Lincoln through the Springfield area. These thunderstorms are moving north and east. Here's the tracker for these. Watch out around Decatur at 11:05 and then Monticello at 11:26. Can you repeat that, please?
Spencer is about ready to go live.
Okay. We have our reporter Spencer Davis. He is out there covering all the active weather that we've been having here in Sangamon County. Let's go to Spencer Davis right now. Spencer, what do you have?
To stay inside, and I am not 4.5 paces outside of our building, just outside in the parking lot. So we are following this protocol as well. But again, right now, Cheryl, it's a very light drizzle. We're not seeing any of this hail yet. And again, we've been kind of following the radar out in the lobby. Again, that's on the way, like you guys are saying. But for right now, it's relatively tame, so there's still time for people to get back to where they need to go. Like you've been saying, keep following tips, find somewhere safe to be. Don't go under trees, obviously. I know you guys have been saying this. But again, the rain's picked up a little bit. But like we talked about, it's mostly vertical right now. We're not seeing a lot of that horizontal wind. We're not seeing those heavy winds yet. But for right now, that's all I have out here in Springfield. Reporting live, I'm Spencer Davis. Back to you.
Spencer, we appreciate that. And we just got word in that the City Hall in Mason City has now been opened up for those that are seeking shelter. That's always a good place to go. Obviously, a big building with a City Hall like that will have a safe shelter in their basement. So the City Hall has now been opened in Mason City to offer you some shelter in case you need that. So keep that in mind, especially for those of you that might be living in a mobile home, because again, you want to go to a sturdier building. So obviously City Hall, that'll be a safe place to go. So go to City Hall in Mason City if that's in your vicinity. And if you are seeing some nasty thunderstorms in your vicinity, the City Hall might be a good place to seek refuge. Okay, so here's what we have for our tracker, as we were mentioning. More thunderstorms will start to bear down on Clinton at 10:57, Decatur 11:05, then on Monticello at 11:26. So we have this squall line that continues to sweep its way across the region. At this point, I believe, yes, our tornado warning, they now allowed it to expire. So we don't have any tornado warnings though right now. That's just outside of our area up in Tazewell County. And then we have more thunderstorms again to our south, kind of flanking the St. Louis area, but officially here in our viewing area, no active tornado warnings, but we do have a whole line of thunderstorms, very strong ones, that continue to run from Bloomington, Lincoln, Springfield, Litchfield, Taylorville, all the way down past I-70 there. Nasty thunderstorms are certainly capable of causing some spin-offs with tornadoes, but also too heavy downpours and some very gusty winds. I'm not sure if we're going to continue our live coverage. I think we are still, yeah.
As of right now, until we
Dawn
hear
Sterling
differently.
here joining us.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it's so interesting this time of year here in Central Illinois. This is why Severe Weather Preparedness Week happens the first week in March in Illinois, because these are the things you need to know. You need to know where to go, you need to have a plan in place, and you need to have the things properly prepared for if and when severe weather strikes, because 9 times out of 10 here in Central Illinois, it does at some point throughout these months of severe weather. We've been very lucky this year too, because sometimes even in the fall or even in winter, we'll have tornado outbreaks and stuff. So we've been very lucky.
Now, we were like advertising this advertising this for a while that there's going to be rough weather coming in for Friday night, so it has panned out. But there's some times where these thunderstorms don't give you much advance notice. So it's always crucial, very important to always have that plan in mind. Where's your safe place to be? If I'm at work, where would I go for severe weather? If I'm at school, where would I go? So just have those ideas in mind.
Joplin, Missouri, hit in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Nobody was paying attention and the lives were lost. When you talk about this storm coming through, now I noticed to the south here, those are where the warnings were, and that's moving, you said, northeast. So that could impact, say, what, Effingham area, maybe a tornado? I mean, you just don't know, right?
Yeah, because I mean, there's still some impressive cells here that the worst of the worst, I have to admit today, basically around St. Louis, but there's still some cells just to the north of there, and they could very well clip places like Hillsborough because it's still holding its own. We're seeing like these little spin-offs right along that whole main squall line. So any one of those could cause some spins, and then we could see the tornado warnings being issued. So it's still a very fluid situation. It's very changeable.
And any homeowner or anybody who's had to deal with any type of storm damage, whether that be from a derecho or a tornado or straight line winds, it's just such a scary time. And so when we were out seeing today already so many trees down blocking roads, power lines down just from the wind alone, now add the impact of the rain. We're hearing trees into roofs of houses, and then you have a leak, and it can be just a mess. But as long as you're safe, things are replaceable.
Yeah, and when storms are coming in during the daylight hours, that's one thing. You can kind of see the skies darkening up and getting really ominous looking. But when they're coming in at night like this, it's so important to make sure that you have multiple means of getting weather alerts and weather notifications. And that's why we're always talking about make sure you download the Storm Team Weather app, because those push alerts will be sent directly to your phone, and it's going to be right there at your fingertips. No matter where you are, you're going to get those weather alerts.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate it.
And Cheryl, I'm going to share National Weather Service just coming in about 10 minutes ago saying reports of 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. This is Loami and New Berlin. So right here heading towards Springfield, which is what if you can hear on our roof, there's a tower cam. It's very wet out there. Obviously you don't need to be outside. That wind, and you can see the lightning lighting up the sky.
Yeah, it's looking pretty scary out there. And again, you couple that with those strong winds, and you can see issues with downed trees and power lines. It's just not one of those evenings you want to be outdoors. You want to be inside, stay safe, and hunker down, and just be prepared, because these storms are, again, moving their way through the area. And even though we haven't seen maybe a whole lot of tornado warnings, there have been a handful of tornado warnings so far this evening. And it just goes to show you that the atmosphere is conducive, where we might be seeing isolated tornadoes. But even if it's not a tornado, these winds by themselves are certainly capable of causing a lot of damage. So
Darren
again,
had talked
take it
about that
seriously.
with the high winds, that in itself can cause a severe thunderstorm warning, which I believe we're under right now.
Yes.
Yeah, we're under here in the capital city. There you go. It's starting to move through Springfield, heading on east. Yeah, the brunt of it down in St. Louis.
Yeah, you can see it's kind of being obscure because the radar is so active, but we've got actually severe thunderstorm warnings right now running from Peoria to Lincoln to Springfield, Taylorville, all the way down towards St. Louis. That whole band is certainly causing some really rough weather for tonight. So this is a very robust line of thunderstorms lined up right in our neck of the woods here. The good news, once we get past this, though, things are going to be drying out and calming down. So yeah, like you folks towards the west now, like around Jacksonville, it's already past you, so you're okay right now. But these thunderstorms will continue to propagate off towards the east, and along that line of thunderstorms, again, we could be seeing isolated tornadoes being spun off. Very strong winds will persist, and also to frequent vivid lightning, heavy downpours too at times. And it's just, you might see some large hail. Earlier today, these thunderstorms, as they were working their way in from the western part of our state, right around the Calhoun and Pike County areas, we had reports of ping pong ball sized hailstones. That too can cause a lot of damage. So all these thunderstorms continue to charge off towards the east. They have been moving very quickly. We've been seeing them moving at speeds close to 60 miles per hour. So a lot of active weather. And again, the winds have really been picking up too with these individual thunderstorms. Here's what we got going on in the last few minutes. Winds, look at that, up to 56 mile per hour winds right now for Springfield, and well over 40 to 45 from Champaign over towards Decatur. Now, severe thunderstorms with a history of tornadoes continue to move out of St. Louis and are roughly along the I-70 corridor. And this should be as a transition as we move towards higher winds as we get closer towards Interstate 57. So yeah, these thunderstorms are still very much capable of producing more tornadoes. We've been talking about this. Right now, the strongest cells, if you can see very closely here, the folks around St. Louis really, really getting clobbered, but these thunderstorms have been really prolific in producing tornadoes. All these areas right now under tornado warnings, but they're moving right up along the I-70 corridor, so that could be clipping some of our southern communities here. So places like maybe Fayette or Effingham counties, not saying that's taking place just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of clipped through their areas here very shortly as these thunderstorms are charging off to the east. So again, right now they're flanking pretty close there to Fayette County, not quite in there just yet, but that tornado warning is just now to your west. So these are some of the stronger cells right there. You can see from just south of Hillsborough to around Burgess, down towards just east of St. Louis. These thunderstorms again producing tornadoes, so it might be clipping part of our viewing area. If it continues as it's going right now, it could very well be working in towards Fayette and Effingham counties here very shortly. But so heads up, please stay weather alert because it's a very fluid situation. In the meantime, we have our tornado warning, but this is just outside of our viewing area. It's up in Tazewell County, just north of Lincoln. They're still under tornado warning as well till 10:45. And there we've got that line of thunderstorms charging through the heart of Illinois right now. All forms of severe weather will be possible tonight, but of course too, strong damaging winds have been one of the biggest concerns. A reminder too that all the counties shaded in yellow, that is a tornado watch, meaning conditions are favorable in and around the watch for the possibility for severe thunderstorms, including tornadoes. Stacey?
Yeah, we're going to continue this coverage through 10:35 through our newscast, wall to wall. As you can hear, it's hard to even talk here in here because that rain is
it's
really
deafening.
coming down. It is. I do want to mention, as you kept talking about the brunt of it down in St. Louis, and yeah, some of the media down there getting a first look at damage, tweeting out that there was some, possible tornadoes, heavy winds, St. Louis area. Traffic was totally blocked on I-44 with tractor trailers being blown over. And it looked like, even further south, the Arkansas and down that area was really at risk today.
Oh yeah. I mean, we were under a moderate risk and it was even worse farther to the south. So
yeah. And we want to go back out to Spencer, as he has talked about. He is very safe. He is here at our station, just right outside at the door. Spencer.
Hey guys, it's raining sideways now. It's
thing.
not as inconsistent as it was, but as you can see, it's really starting to come down now. And this is all rain still. We've gotten a couple of thunderclaps. Again, I'm like 5 paces away from the lobby, so completely safe still. But again, the rain has started to come down. I had some sources telling me, it's going sideways now, and I didn't believe them. I looked outside; it wasn't really that bad. Now my socks are completely wet, and that's about all I have for right now. But again, stay safe. Don't go outside. Keep listening to our meteorologists. They're doing a great job. Reporting live in Springfield, I'm Spencer Davis. Back to you.
All right, we just saw lightning, so get inside.
My heart goes out to you,
I know.
Spencer, yeah.
And you know what? The young reporters, you guys braving the rain, thank you for giving us a sight of that. Because, most people are inside right now, and you saw there was another warning.
Yeah, well, here's what it looks like for Springfield. I mean, you can just see the bright shades of the red. That shows the high reflectivity. The rain is just coming down, inundating downpours right now for Springfield. A lot of lightning, too, and that's exactly what Spencer's putting up with. But
bless his heart.
Yeah, he's come indoors, though, right now, so that's good. But yeah, here's a new warning. A new tornado warning has just been issued. This is for Macoupin and Montgomery County. Again, just to get your perspective here, again, this is the southern part of our viewing area, and we were talking about these stronger thunderstorms rotating up from the St. Louis area, and here we go again, another little batch popping up here. Macoupin and Montgomery County right now under tornado warning until 11:15 for tonight. Let's get some more information regarding this. Okay, now this was a radar indicated tornado. Let's see what it says here. At 10:27, Doppler radar indicating a tornado possibly forming about 8 miles north of East Gillespie or about 7 miles east of Carlinville, moving northeast at 50. So that is our tornado warning. Some of the cities that might be impacted, again, would be Carlinville and Litchfield around 10:30 for tonight. Also, Raymond might be in the path, too, for these strong thunderstorms about 10:35. So right now, a tornadic thunderstorm has developed here right around Macoupin and Montgomery County, very close to the city of East Gillespie and also to east of Carlinville, moving northeast at 50. That being said, let's take a tracker on these thunderstorms. Again, moving northeast at close to 50 miles per hour. So a heads up if you live in Taylorville, it could be bearing down in your area right around 11 o'clock and around Assumption at 11:12. So this is our possibility of the tornadic thunderstorms moving up towards the Taylorville area as these thunderstorms are moving northeast. We've also seen some large hail too. It's estimated that there could be quarter-sized to ping-pong ball-sized hailstones with some of these thunderstorms. So a heads up, right now currently tornado warning continues for Montgomery and Macoupin County until 11:15. Safety tips to keep in mind: if you are under a tornado warning, you want to go to the basement. Go to the lowest level of your home, stay away from windows, go to an interior room, and you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And if you live in a mobile homes are not very sturdy, so you want to go to a sturdier, more substantial building to protect yourself from flying debris. Again, we are being inundated right now by a whole slew of nasty thunderstorms. Our impressive squall line continues to blast from west to east. It is currently running from near Peoria, very close to the Bloomington area, right through the heart of central Illinois here, right around Springfield and around the capital area, all the way down towards St. Louis. That is our squall line. Within this squall line, we've been seeing very strong winds, lots of lightning, intense heavy rains as well. And of course, too, we've been seeing these isolated tornadoes that are spun up. And this is going to be pretty much the story for the next few hours or so. Thunderstorms right now, right along the I-55 corridor, charging off towards the east, and they will steadily making headway to the east. And it really won't be until the wee morning hours on Saturday morning that these thunderstorms will finally be out of our area. But right now we are seeing that we have a tornado warning right now, again for Macoupin and Montgomery counties under that tornado warning. Let's take a look at our reflectivity, or the Doppler velocity mode, and we'll see if we can see some signs of circulation within this. Okay. Circulation doesn't appear to be too terribly impressive, but there is some circulation certainly taking place here. Let's go back to our velocity mode, or the reflectivity mode. Some heavy downpours. Here's what it looks like now from our reflectivity mode. Whenever you see the brighter shades of the oranges, and especially the pinks and the red, that indicates the more intense parts of these thunderstorms. And we are getting really pummeled right now for Springfield. Heavy downpours currently in progress. And we've got some heavy duty rains and that possible tornado too, very close to the Carlinville area. So again, this is the most impressive, the most potent part of this line of thunderstorms as it continues to race off to the north and east. So a heads up if you live around the Taylorville area, the worst of the worst might be headed in your direction here very shortly as these thunderstorms are moving off to the north and east. Taylorville, you'll be in the path of that. Also too around the Hillsborough area, you're seeing some rough weather as well. So these thunderstorms are continuing to rumble off to the north and east. Again, we still have active warnings in effect. And now, at least across the western part of our viewing area, like around Beardstown and around Scott and Mason counties, Scott and Morgan counties, you have now had your, the tornado watch has now been allowed to expire. So we were talking about this too, that this is a squall line right now across the area. And once this line of thunderstorms blasts through the region, you're going to be drying out. So the worst of the worst right now is charging off towards the east. Then things are calming down behind it. We still have some gusty winds to deal with, yes, for sure. But at least the threat for severe thunderstorms in the form of showers and storms, that'll be done with. So we'll be drying out afterwards. So right now, Jacksonville and also too around the Beardstown area, you're no longer under that tornado watch. But for the eastern part of the state, we still have a lot more activity yet to come as this line of thunderstorms continues to work from west to east. And it will continue to be producing and setting off some more nasty thunderstorms, at least for the next few hours. It won't be until 3 o'clock that our tornado watch is allowed to expire. So counties right now under that tornado watch, all the areas in yellow, a tornado watch that remains in effect until 3 o'clock in the morning. A lot of activity going on for sure.
And Cheryl, we're going to be checking in with Darren in just a couple minutes here. CWLP was still reporting just a couple hundred people out, but I know there are reports as they are coming in. So if you are watching us, there are some phone numbers you can call. We've got, I believe, it on our website, newschannel20.com. So there are different things if you have power out in parts of Springfield, in that CWLP, of course, wherever else you live, you call your utility to give them a heads up. And I believe Darren is ready to help you out.
Yeah. Darren?
Check one. Yeah.
We're going to send it out to.
That's right.
There we
So
go.
as we've continued, we've got a number of still severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now. 2 tornado warnings around Macoupin, Montgomery County, and then up around Tazewell County. And then you can see just to the west of Fayette County, down along Interstate 70, still have another tornado warning down there. Just taking a look at this line of thunderstorms that's been slowly pushing its way through. But yes, very widespread here across the region. You can see those watches and warnings from around northern Illinois all the way down just east of the St. Louis metropolitan area. But this is what we were anticipating to come through for this evening. And again, we did talk about the potential for a few of those tornadic cells to be embedded within this line of strong thunderstorms. Our biggest concern was again going to be the winds, and we have storms coming through. Yes, we've been seeing those winds even stronger, 70 miles per hour and a little bit stronger. So let's take a look at what we're seeing currently with that tornado warning down around Macoupin, Montgomery County. Right now, still radar indicated, so that means we have not had a spotter confirm that there is an active tornado on the ground. Hail reports coming in with this cell right around an inch, so that puts it around a quarter size. Still can do plenty of damage, but our biggest concern is again going to be that tornadic threat. If you are around Macoupin, Montgomery County, western Christian County, and far southern Sangamon County, now is when you want to get to your safe place. Most interior portion of your home, and make sure you're putting as many layers between you and the outside walls as you possibly can. If you have a basement, that is the place to go. Make sure you've got either a weather radio, your cell phone, computer, some way to receive more of those updates as we go forward and continue to see these storms evolve and develop, because they've still got quite a ways to go as they're working their way through all of central Illinois. Taking a look at where we might be seeing that tornadic activity, it looks like this would kind of be our best indicator where we're picking up some of that larger and heavier rainfall, but likely also where we may be seeing that little bit of a hook back. I'm going to jump off so I can give you maybe a little bit of a closer look at this. But let's take a look at our storm velocity once again. This is how we determine rotation within those storms. Green is going to be making its way towards that radar site up in Lincoln. Red, pink, that would be moving away from the radar. We're essentially looking for some sort of a mixing to happen, but it really doesn't look like we're seeing any of that anywhere near here, near Carlinville, Raymond, the Litchfield area, but maybe a little bit of some rotation just around far western Macoupin County, but that's not enough to really indicate anything. And once again, we're seeing that tornado warning happen around northeastern Macoupin County and northwestern Montgomery County. But this is what my best guess would be, is this is where we're seeing that little hook rotation. This is possibly where we're possibly looking at that radar indicating that there is some kind of spin within that, right on the border of Macoupin, Montgomery County, and just west of Interstate 55, west of the Raymond area. That is my best guess right now, seeing as how we're not getting a good indicator by our storm velocity, because this is usually going to be a telltale sign that we would be seeing that rotation in the clouds, that mixing happening. Let's throw it over to our storm reports and see if we have any reports of funnel clouds. I don't see any funnel reporting. So again, we may not even have a spotter around the area. But still, radar is indicating we're seeing rotation. It looks like we're seeing rotation, at least by our radar image currently. Let's go back over to our live Doppler radar. But still, it doesn't look like we're really picking up on much of anything. Let's get the latest data from the National Weather Service here on this. So tornado warning remains in effect for northwestern Montgomery and northeastern Macoupin County. That is until 11:15, about the next 35 minutes. So a little after 10:30, we did pick up on that severe thunderstorm, and with the rotation that we're seeing indicated by radar, it is capable of producing a tornado. Right now, this storm 9 miles south of Farmersville, 9 miles east of Carlinville, and it is moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So these storms definitely moving very quickly. Again, the biggest hazards with this is going to be potential tornado, quarter-size hail, and that puts us around an inch in diameter. So again, if you are in southern Sangamon County, if you are in western Christian County, you need to get to your safe place right now. Hopefully folks in Macoupin and Montgomery County, with this warning being issued, are already sheltering in place. Make sure you've got your weather radio, one of our weather apps, whether it be Fox Illinois or News Channel 20, to get the constant updates, and make sure you are staying on top of what this storm is doing, because as we've seen throughout the evening, these storms are evolving very quickly. They are very dynamic, very much wind-driven, and the winds were one of our biggest concerns throughout the day today. We can also take a look at that other tornado warning that we had up in Tazewell County. This one, we will get the latest information on as well. At 10:25, severe squall line capable of producing tornadoes and straight line wind damage was located near Mackinac, 9 miles southeast of Morton, also moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. Our big threats, a tornado potential and quarter-sized hail, also 1 inch in diameter. Radar also indicating rotation on this one. Let's jump over to our storm velocity and see if we can pick up. Once again, this is going to be very near our radar site to the south in Logan County. So typically, that is when we are seeing that mixing happening. With the green moving towards the radar, red is moving away from the radar. So very tricky area if we did happen, but we would likely see more of the green mixing with the red just to the east of I-155 and definitely to the west of McLean County. So still, the potential for tornadoes are there. We've been seeing those with the evolution of this storm system throughout the last several hours as this has continued to make its way through. Looking westerly right now, things are starting to calm down. Jacksonville, Beardstown, you guys are in the clear, but this storm system is still got a long ways to go. We are going to be watching it track through the central portion of our viewing area over towards Interstate 55, or Interstate 57, excuse me, and then finally working its way over into western Indiana. But again, we have no reports of confirmed tornadoes just yet, other than the ones that we had previously seen come through the St. Louis metro area, but radar is picking up on rotation. So again, both of these storm systems in Tazewell County, in Macoupin and Montgomery counties, have the potential of producing that tornado. Also does still look like maybe seeing some signs of some weakening along with this. Remember before we were seeing a little bit of that hooking, which would indicate rotation within that storm. Right now, this pushing into far southwestern Christian County, I would put as kind of the epicenter of that cell where we are seeing that heavier rainfall rate and likely that strongest core of this little cell in this line of thunderstorms. But once again, we are not seeing very good returns or any kind of indicator from our velocity here. Raymond area, still just a lot just moving towards that radar site. And with this northeasterly movement going towards the radar, we're seeing green. Moving away from the radar, we'd see red. So a lot of green making its way up towards Logan County. So not a very good indication. We want to see that mixing to have a very clear picture on where that rotation is exactly happening, where we can perhaps pinpoint a tornado's location and therefore know exactly where its next movement is going to be. But this very difficult situation, likely we're just seeing that rotation within the clouds. And like I said, radar indicating rotation, but not quite picking up on it with our storm velocity at this point in time. Still though, besides the tornadic threat, we are seeing that very large hail accompanied with this of thunderstorms. We're going to take a look at what we've been seeing just over the last half hour with our hail reports. Most of the hail you can see much larger to our south, especially along Interstate 70. As this hail has continued to kind of track its way into our Macoupin and Montgomery County communities, we've seen a little bit of a drop off, but we have still had those reports of 1-inch sized hail. The rest of central Illinois, where we're also seeing those thunderstorms moving through, not really picking up on a lot of hail. That's good. We don't want to see any more of the significant weather that we need to. But right now, that line of thunderstorms continues to progress through the region. We are still seeing some of those pockets of rotation, especially with our storm track assistance, but likely down around southern Montgomery County, we're starting to see another sign of some rotation, and that one still under a severe thunderstorm warning. We have not gotten a tornado warn on that cell just yet, but to its south, we also see down along I-70, they are picking up and issuing tornado warnings on that cell where there's a little bit more activity happening. So yes, we are watching these areas of rotation. Those are going to be our big areas of concern. Winds still coming in 70 miles per hour pretty much throughout this entire line of storms from around southern Sangamon County up through Lincoln County, up through Logan County, up through the Lincoln area and into far eastern Tazewell and into McLean County as well. But yes, starting to pick up on a little bit of rotation, maybe even in far east Sangamon County, almost making its way into Macon County right now. So we're going to continue to watch this, but right now our big threat seems to be with that hail. And like I said, this next cell pushing its way close to the East Fork area, south of Hillsboro. That one showing very strong updraft, picking up on 1.75-inch hail, and that one just on the border of Bond County to our south. But hail going to be a big concern with that one. The other ones still, winds seem to be our driving factor. So we will stay on air with you while these storms continue to progress through central Illinois area and make sure you are staying updated to the most recent information. We're going to go ahead and toss things back over to Cheryl and give her a little perspective. Or Cheryl, what are you with this line of storms?
Yeah, I've been
something
seeing
that
some,
I'm perhaps missing a little bit.
I've been having some issues here. Well, I've been seeing some problems regarding some of the damage that has been coming in. There's been some heavy roof damage that was reported in Andrew in Sangamon County. And then we also reports coming in from Loami and New Berlin. These thunderstorms, when they blew through the area here shortly after 10 o'clock, they were packing winds of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. So Loami and New Berlin also sustaining some damage because of these very, very potent thunderstorms. And right now you can see that the core of this band of thunderstorms is right across the heart of Illinois, right now running from Peoria and Bloomington. You go over to Clinton and Lincoln, Decatur, Taylorville, Shelbyville, all the way down towards the I-70 corridor, just a large swath of very, very potent thunderstorms. Within that line of storms, we've been seeing very strong winds at times easily gusting over 60 to 70 miles per hour, if not higher. Actually, earlier today, we had peak winds around the Macomb area up to 81 mile per hour winds. We've also seen reports of some large hail, and of course, too, there have been some spin up of the tornadoes. Let's put a future cast on this, though. We kind of see that we've got the thunderstorms that will continue for the next few hours or so, but this line of thunderstorms will be making steady headway towards the east. By 1 o'clock, thunderstorms certainly line up and down the I-57 corridor, and then the thunderstorms will be out of here, though, by daybreak tomorrow. So the thunderstorms will be out of here. We'll still be dealing with some residual very strong wind gusts, though, even behind this weather maker. So even tomorrow morning, through at least the early part of the afternoon, we could still see some wind gusts around 35, close to 45 miles per hour. So it will remain a very breezy, blustery day, even for your Saturday. Here's just a quick gander at some wind gusts that we've seen thus far around the area around Springfield. This was before the thunderstorms even hit. We had winds up to 59 mile per hour gusts. Easily, we've had 45 to 55 mile per hour winds, and in some isolated incidences, like we've said before, like around Loami and New Berlin, they had peak winds around 60 to 70 miles per hour. So some fierce winds. Just a reminder that we are definitely not out of the woods just yet. A handful of counties now over our extreme western viewing area, like around Scott and Morgan County, they have now been able to roll off that tornado watch. But for the rest of the area here, the area shaded in yellow, that indicates a tornado watch, which means conditions are favorable in and around the watch area for some intense thunderstorms. Thunderstorms that are certainly capable of spawning tornadoes, but along with that too, we'll see some strong damaging wind gusts. There could also be some large hail. So a good chunk of central Illinois still under that active tornado watch that remains in effect until 3 o'clock Saturday morning. So a lot of this is going to be taking place again overnight tonight. It's dark, and it's so important to make sure that you definitely have multiple means of receiving weather reports, because you can't really look outside because the skies are just totally dark. You can't see what's coming your way. So make sure that you have multiple means of getting weather alerts, such as the Storm Team weather app. That's always a good idea. Here's just a gander some of the storm reports coming in thus far. A lot of wind damage. There's been reports too of some hail. So it has been a very, very active day, and the worst conditions certainly have been around the St. Louis area, and that's where we had some of those tornado warnings coming up that were clipping through Montgomery County and some of our southern counties. They have been under that tornado warning just because it's been very, very active, especially around the St. Louis metro area earlier today. So as it stands right now, we're still seeing a major swath of severe thunderstorms running from Bloomington, also impacting Decatur, now approaching to the west side of Champaign. So not quite in Champaign County just yet, but it is coming in. As you can see, all those areas shaded in the orange, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. That does include DeWitt, Logan, Macon, McLean, and Piatt counties right now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, Doppler radar indicating that there's going to be some very strong wind gusts. Winds could possibly be around 70 miles per hour, and we could also see hail, maybe the size of 3/4 of an inch, perhaps approaching the quarter-size hailstones in that area. To the south of there, we have more severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. And then we have our tornado warning, too, that's also in effect. So a tornado warning right now in effect for Macoupin and Montgomery counties. So they are currently under a tornado warning. We also have another warning here, I believe. It's just south of the Greenville area, but there's our tornado warning for Montgomery and Macoupin County. So a tornado warning there until 11:15 local time. If you are under that tornado warning, it's very important to take it seriously. You want to definitely seek shelter, go to the lowest level of your home. Just go to the basement if you have a basement, but just go to the lowest level if you don't have a basement, and then go to an interior room. You want to stay away from windows and put as many walls between you and the outside elements as possible, because of course there could always be flying debris. So right now our tornado warning continues, and that goes in effect at least for another 20 minutes or so. Officially it goes till 11:15 for this evening. So on top of the threat for tornadoes, also to the chance to see some large quarter-size hailstones, and certainly to very gusty winds and quite a bit of lightning. So a lot of busy weather taking place. Now, especially down here to the south, where we've seen other tornado warnings that came up from St. Louis, another big concern, the possibility for large hail. And let's see if we got a hail tracker on these. Hailstones have also been a big issue. As you can see, there have been some hailstones reported here, just not too far from the Hillsborough area. So they're flanking very close to, let me get my counties here. It's not too far from Hillsborough. So just to the south and east of Hillsborough. So that would be basically places like around Shelby County and Effingham County. Very close to the I-70 corridor. We've been seeing some of these stronger thunderstorms lifting up through that area. Certainly some of these thunderstorms will be capable of producing large hailstones. So we've got some issues going on there right around flanking the I-70 corridor, some hail producing thunderstorms in the general vicinity. And as far as circulation is concerned, so we can look at the velocity mode. We're looking at different shades of the couplets of the greens and the red, because the green indicates the winds are going towards the radar site. The red indicates the winds are going away from the radar site. So there does appear to be some circulation there. So again, right along the I-70 corridor, some very, very active stormy weather currently taking place there. And again, we still have multiple counties still under our severe thunderstorm warnings, which does include Springfield right now still under that severe thunderstorm warning. There's that big band of very impressive thunderstorms currently running from near Lincoln, running right through the land of Lincoln, right across the heart of Illinois, down through Taylorville and extending all the way to the south. A big line of thunderstorms right now across the area. So again, we're seeing multiple concerns that we're dealing with. Besides the threat for tornadoes, there's also the strong winds, and also to some very heavy downpours, and frequent vivid lightning has also been an issue going on. Might be having some problems with downed trees or power lines in your area just because of the strong thunderstorms in your vicinity. Quick gander at some of the peak winds that we've seen here in the last few minutes. Well, around the Litchfield area, winds the last few minutes up to 50 miles per hour, just shy of 50 miles per hour. Very gusty conditions too around Decatur and Champaign and Danville. Winds between 35 to 45 miles per hour. So that too can cause some issues with some downed trees or power lines in your vicinity. So be extra cautious for that. Again, multiple counties under our tornado watch. The area shaded in yellow indicates the tornado watch, and the areas shaded in the shades of orange, that is our severe thunderstorm warning, which does encompass multiple counties from Peoria and Bloomington through Sangamon County, all the way down through Taylorville and all the way down towards the I-70 corridor. And then right around I-70, that's where our tornado warnings continue at this juncture in time. So we have our tornado warning that continues. Tornado warning right now continues for Fayette County, and also too for Bond County. So we have our tornado warning that continues until 11 o'clock. And we believe we have Spencer Davis outside now covering some of the nasty storms that are taking place right now. Spencer, what do you have going on?
Hey, Cheryl. The rain has calmed down a little bit again. It's a little bit more consistent than the first time I reported, significantly less than the second time I reported. But again, we're getting a little pitter-patter going on around here, but still some lightning. I don't know if it's an urban legend where you get, the flash of lightning and then you wait for however many seconds and that's how many miles it is. But it is almost instantaneous right now here in Springfield, where it is just a lightning and then a thunderclap right afterwards. But again, it's right on cue. We'll see how many seconds that is. But again, it's a slow drizzle. I would say there's a good amount of rain on the ground right now. But again, it's not raining horizontally like it was last time. But again, that's all I have for right now. Reporting live in Springfield, I'm Spencer Davis. Back to you.
Thanks, Spencer. Thanks for weathering the storm. Yeah, some active weather going on. The worst has been behind us now for Springfield because the core of that strong thunderstorm line has worked its way now to the east. So things are lessening up here around Springfield. So that's definitely encouraging news. But for folks, let's say maybe around the Charleston area, around Mattoon, the storms have yet to reach your area, as the storms are, as you can see, are easily propagating from west to east. They're going to be working their way towards the I-57 corridor. So a heads up, if you live anywhere from Champaign to Charleston, down through the Effingham area, you're still in the thick of things as these storms are working in from west to east. So they haven't quite reached your area just yet, but your weather will steadily be deteriorating and going downhill as the evening wears on. So we've got multiple concerns. We've got the possibility for some very strong wind gusts, some heavy downpours, frequent vivid lightning, possibility for some large hail, and of course, 2 tornadoes. Speaking of tornadoes, we have our tornado warnings that continue now for some of our southern counties very close to the I-70 corridor, which does include Fayette and County and back over to Bond and Clinton counties, also too under this tornado warning. So basically for our area and our concerns, it's basically here for Fayette County, that's going to be the main concern right now. Fayette County, so this does include places like Vandalia and around the Greenville area, hugging right there around I-70. That's where we're seeing tornadic thunderstorm activity taking place here. And these thunderstorms are moving along very, very quickly. They are moving, we've been seeing them moving at speeds of nearly 70 miles per hour. So again, we've got a report here from Doppler radar. It's indicating that a tornado was located very close to Beaver Creek, or about 7 miles northwest of Carlisle, and it's moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. Besides the threat for tornadoes, there could also be some golf ball size hailstones, and we're seeing the brighter shades of the white. That indicates some hail possibilities here. So hail, very destructive winds, and of course too, we're seeing Doppler radar indicating some circulation taking place here in Fayette County. Let's put a tracker on these thunderstorms. Again, they are moving to the north and east, moving at around 50 miles per hour. Alrighty, let's put a tracker on these thunderstorms, and we'll just get an idea of some other communities that might be impacted by these stronger thunderstorms. Again, Vandalia, heads up for you, because by 11:14, the thunderstorms should be bearing down on your area, maybe around Mound at 11:38 and around Effingham at 11:52. So a lot of concern still going on. We still have this major band of thunder working its way right across central Illinois here. The main heart of it right now from Bloomington down towards Decatur, all the way down towards I-70 with our tornado warning that continues now for Fayette County. At least for Springfield, seems like the worst of the worst has passed us by. As you can see, the brighter shades of the oranges and the reds, they're now to the east. So things should be calming down, at least as far as the rain activity is concerned around Springfield. But we still have some busy weather taking place elsewhere around the state. So we're going to continue our coverage right now. We're going to be going back to our sister station. We're going to go back to Darren Leeds, and we'll get things, we'll see what he has to say regarding these stronger thunderstorms that are working their way across Illinois. Darren?
Yeah, and Cheryl, still with that tornado warning you were just talking about down along Interstate 70, a lot of these stronger cells have been coming into central Illinois from the St. Louis metro area. Of course, the St. Louis city acts as a little bit of an urban heat island, so definitely can pick up some additional fuel along with coming over the Mississippi. But absolutely, Vandalia, Fayette County, Effingham County, you guys are going to be in the path of this system as it's working its way through. Are still picking up on some of that rotation just within areas of pink here. So no confirmed tornado, but radar indicating that we are seeing rotation within that thunderstorm. And this cell producing some very large hail right now, about 1.75 inches. So that puts it a little bit above that golf ball size, but absolutely that can do some damage on its own. And that tornadic threat, once again, is going to be one of our big areas of concern. So if you are in Fayette County, anywhere along Interstate 70 from around Bond County and going eastward, definitely want to be making sure you are heading to your safe place in home. Most interior part of your house, stay away from windows, put as many layers between yourself and the outside walls as you can. If you have a basement, that is going to be the place to go. Make sure you're staying up to date with your NOAA Weather Radio, our Storm Team app, or if you are watching us on air or online at this point in time. But taking a look at our storm velocity, still, once again, this now coming from our St. Louis Doppler Radar Center. So green is going to actually be making its way towards that radar site. Red is making itself away, but kind of seeing maybe around the central area is where we'd maybe be picking up on that better location for rotation within that thunderstorm. Not a very good indicator, but definitely kind of gives us a little bit of an idea. And once again, where we are starting to see that heavier band of rain coming in, a little bit of that kind of hooking signature, that's kind of the area that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, as that gives us a good indication of where there is that rotation within that thunderstorm itself. So again, like Cheryl mentioned, these storms moving very quickly here. We've been seeing them between 50 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour at some of the quickest, but definitely More of our eastern counties starting to kind of get into that clear. Jacksonville looking at calm weather at this point in time, but the rest of us just to the east of Interstate 55, now we're starting to kind of get our fair share of it as well. So let's take a look at some of the other cells that we're keeping a close eye on that are embedded in this squall line of thunderstorms, because we need to make sure we're giving everybody a look at what we are seeing here. Still also seeing some areas of rotation just around far eastern Montgomery County, coming into the area of far southwestern Shelby County. We're picking up on a little bit of some rotation there. Also looks like there is some very weak rotation centered in and around the Litchfield area. So these are going to be some spots that we're keeping our eye on right now. Christian, Macon, Sangamon, Shelby counties under that severe thunderstorm warning, and that goes until 11:45. But yes, Taylorville starting to see a lot of that heavy rain right now at this point. Springfield kind of starting to see that rain break up, especially around the western half of the city and around far southeastern Sangamon County. We're still dealing with a lot more of that heavy rain, but yes, things kind of starting to clear up the further west that you go. Around the Decatur area, you guys are definitely seeing a little bit of rain, but we continue to watch that band of heavy thunderstorm activity continue to work its way in from the west. So if we jump back over, so now we're jumping between a couple of these radar sites, so things are going to be a little bit trickier. But I did tell you we were seeing a little bit of that rotation around northwestern Fayette County. So this, while I'm still under St. Louis's radar site, this is the area I'm kind of paying attention to. But as soon as I start to move, I'm going to switch over to Lincoln's radar. So that's when I kind of start to lose that better indicator. But you can see these very small areas of purple, which tells me this is likely where we're starting to see more of that rotation within that thunderstorm. So again, the further you are away from that radar site, a little bit trickier it gets, or at least a little bit more difficult. But yes, using our color palette, we can kind of start to pick out some of those segments. But to the west of Ramsey, Sharon, east of Fillmore, that's what I'm kind of focusing on right now, at least getting a good indicator with that rotation with our storm tracking tool, which is absolutely excellent because it kind of gives us the area to focus on, and then we can continue to kind of take a closer look at that location. But jumping between those radar sites definitely adds a little bit of some difficulty to it, because St. Louis radar site with the velocity, we're definitely getting that better mixing picture. But with Logan, with how far we are away from Lincoln's radar site, yes, it becomes a little bit more difficult, but we do have those two small indicators that, yes, there could potentially be a little bit of some rotation happening in there. Let's jump back out to our full radar scope and just kind of getting a look at what this storm is currently doing, who is going to be kind of seeing some of the worst of it next. It looks like Christian County actually kind of in the midst of everything right now here, just a little bit after 11 o'clock this evening. Decatur, you're likely going to start to see some of those rain rates pick up here soon, but you can see those heavier bands just to the west around far western Macon County and starting to come out of eastern Sangamon County. Still no storm reports of any kind of funnel clouds or reported tornadoes here in our central Illinois counties. So again, that is a very good sign. Hail reports also starting to see some of that heavier, larger hail pushing its way in from the southwest, but we are getting that cross into far northwestern Fayette County, across Litchfield area. You guys have kind of seen your fair share of hail, but now starting to see that track make its way farther into southern Christian County. Looks like it might just kind of skirt past Taylorville. So you guys kind of seeing some of, or missing some of the worst of it, but this secondary path of hail may be putting its kind of bullseye right towards the Shelbyville area, but maybe could perhaps either weaken or maybe just kind of skirt past Shelbyville a little bit. Let's go back over to Cheryl. And Cheryl, what
Yeah, Darren.
is this hail associated with these stronger cells?
Yeah, Darren, what I wanted to say is that you might be hearing sirens going off right now in Taylorville, and that's because of the strong winds in association with these thunderstorms. So right now, warnings, or at least the sirens, are being sounded here around Taylorville because there are severe thunderstorm warnings that continue to 11:45. So there might not actually be a tornado right now, but the winds have been very fierce. Some of these winds right around the Taylorville area could be clocked around 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, and that is prompting the warnings that you're seeing right now, at least the sirens that are going off. But we still have a very active squall line here, and it seems like the worst of the worst right now is on our southern flank here, very close to the I-70 corridor. And it's like within that area that we've been seeing some of these thunderstorms actually spinning up tornadoes. And it's been really an ongoing story for much of the evening hours. Started off around the St. Louis area. Multiple counties around St. Louis were under tornado warnings, and this whole complex of thunderstorms has been pretty much holding its own, and now they're working their way up towards the I-70 corridor, and they've been basically skimming right across some of our southern viewing area. So right now we still have some tornado warnings that remain in effect, and it's mainly here for Fayette County, so it's right I-70 corridor, and you can see, again, lots of vivid lightning taking place, a really, really strong signature of some heavy downpours here. This is the core of some of the stronger thunderstorms taking place, and as Darren was just showing us, we've also seen a legacy of some hailstones being produced from these thunderstorms as well. So multiple facets that we're concerned with, various weather hazards that are still going on here. And let's take a look at some of the closer information here. Now, this tornado warning again for Fayette County, the big concerns would be the possibility for more tornadoes, but also two golf ball size hailstones. This all was coming about being caused by Doppler radar indicated circulation around here. And the circulation, they were saying, was right around Beaver Creek, or about 7 miles northwest of Carlisle, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So that's what prompted the latest tornado warning. And our warning remains in effect until 11:30, so it does stay in effect for about another 15 minutes or so.
Spencer's ready.
And so we've been seeing some really rough weather here with our tornado warning that continues. Meanwhile, up here in Sangamon County, we're not under a tornado warning, but we've certainly had our fair share of active weather. The rain was coming down sideways for a while. Luckily, the rains have been easing up here for Springfield around Sangamon County, so things are looking better in that respect. And of course, we've had our trusty reporter Spencer Davis has been out there weathering the storm, getting his fair share of the wind and the rain this evening. Spencer, what's it looking like right now?
Well, Cheryl, this rain has almost completely stopped. I mean, if you just, what I've been doing recently is just kind of watch the puddles on the ground. You can kind of see the frequency in which these drops are landing. And again, it's really slowed down. I think you can probably see behind me a little bit. There's very little that you can see. So again, the rain has really slowed down. I'm not hearing a lot of wind. Again, we don't have many flags out here, but yeah, it's pretty tame out here right now. Again, I'm not saying that anyone should leave their safe areas or anything like that. But again, you know, you guys have talked about it. We're seeing this storm keep moving east. And right now it's raining a whole lot. So for now, that's all I have reporting in Springfield. I'm Spencer Davis. Back to you.
Thanks, Spencer. Appreciate it. And I'm glad to say, yeah, weather conditions are really improving drastically here around Springfield and around Sangamon County. So that's definitely encouraging. And this is going to be the trend for the rest of tonight. Right now, we are seeing that a handful of counties now over our western part of our area, especially west of Interstate 55, they've now been dropped from our tornado watch. So that's good, showing the weather's calming down here across the west, but still over the eastern part of the state, we're still under tornado watches until 3 o'clock officially this Saturday morning. So here's our main line of thunderstorms right now. It is working eastbound, so I wouldn't be surprised if they start to drop here Sangamon County from that severe thunderstorm and tornado watch as well, because yeah, conditions are improving. This system, this whole line of thunderstorms is moving very quickly off towards the east. It's been moving at speeds of at least 60 miles per hour. So It's a one and done thing. Once these thunderstorms move out of your area, they should be out of here. We don't have to worry about any more inclement weather like that taking place as we move into the weekend. Now, one thing I did want to mention, though, that even behind this weather system, the winds will still be pretty breezy and blustery even for Saturday. I know a lot of events are going on with St. Patrick's Day coming up on Monday. We still have some gusty winds to deal with. Winds at times, at least for Saturday morning, could still be gusting around 35, maybe around 45 miles per hour. So still breezy and blustery, but at least the worst of the storm system will have passed by that point. Now, again, a reminder that we have tornado warnings that continue at this point. We had tornado warnings, especially here to the south, right around Fayette County, but now a new one has just been issued also for Shelby County. So our latest tornado warning right now is for Shelby County, and this remains in effect until midnight. So we still have several more minutes with this one. This is what's happening. The Doppler radar indicating a tornado possibly forming very close to Herrick, or about 12 miles south of the Pana area, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. That is our latest tornado warning. On top of that, too, there's an indication that we might be seeing some large hail. Hail could be about the size of 1.5 inches in diameter, so that would be roughly the size of ping pong ball size hailstones. And that is, again, for Shelby County. So we're still seeing some very, very active weather. And it does seem to appear that most of the activity that we have been seeing is still concentrated mainly south of I-72 and down towards I-70. That seems to be the core of the strongest thunderstorms right now, just to the east of Taylorville, back through Shelbyville, and down towards the I-70 corridor. Still a very, very robust line of thunderstorms, and you can see it's moving very quickly. It is charging off to the north and east at speeds of nearly 50 to 60 miles per hour. So that's the strongest core band of these thunderstorms. Again, we have our tornado warning right now for Shelby County down towards all the way down towards I-70 around Fayette County. So if you live in these counties, please do seek shelter immediately. The safest place to go is to go to an interior room in the lowest level of your home. If you have a basement, that's great. If you don't have a basement, though, it's still okay. Just go to the lowest level, go to an interior room, and stay away from windows because, of course, with any of these strong thunderstorms, they can be packing, again, tornadoes, but also very strong damaging wind gusts. That could cause a lot of broken glass and a lot of debris. So you want to make sure that you're properly secured and away from those glass windows because that could be a very dangerous situation. Crawl under a sturdy piece of furniture and really protect yourself from any flying debris. And that means by covering yourself up by a comforter or blanket or something to protect yourself from any flying debris. So again, we have tornado warnings that continue right now for Shelby County until midnight. So this is the area right up here. That's where we have our tornado warning right now. And as far as the reflectivity is concerned, we do see some intense areas of the reds and the magentas, which indicates the really core of the stronger thunderstorms. And let's take a look at the velocity mode, and we can see where the winds might be, how they're behaving too. And it does appear like there's some circulation. Oh yeah, you can definitely distinctly see that. From our radar perspective here, what we're looking at are the winds, how the winds are behaving. So when the winds are going towards the radar site, they're shaded in green. If the winds are going away from the radar site, they're red. And whenever you see a couplet like that, it does indicate some kind of a twisting motion taking place. So that appears to be where there might be a tornadic thunderstorm cell right in that general vicinity to the north and east of Ramsey. So that's our tornado warning that we have going on right now. So busy, busy weather right now taking place. And as we put a tracker on these thunderstorms, again, moving off to the northeast, here's some other cities that might be impacted. Oh, let me get this in a different mode. Well, let's do it that way. Okay, so it might be, again, Shelbyville at 11:43, maybe around Mattoon shortly after midnight, and also too for Charleston shortly after midnight as these thunderstorms continue to move off to the northeast. If they still hold intact, you might be seeing these very intense thunderstorms bearing down on your area here very shortly. So we still have a lot of activity going on right now. Multiple counties remain under either tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings. The worst of the worst right now does seem to be over south central Illinois. So you go from Mattoon down to Effingham, you're under severe thunderstorm warnings with our tornado warnings too also in effect. And that would be the tornado warnings again for Shelby County until midnight. And then farther to the south of there, another warning that also remains in effect. And this is also for a place like Fayette County. and it does include Bond and northern parts of Marion County, but mainly for our purposes, it's Fayette County, and that goes in effect until 11:30, so still a few more minutes with that one. But these tornadoes, again, besides the tornadic activity, there's also a chance to see some ping pong or even half-dollar-sized hailstones. So these are big hailstones as well in association with this complex of thunderstorms. Very gusty winds, too. And again, these thunderstorms are moving pretty quickly. They've been moving, just hauling right along at speeds of, now this one's saying that these thunderstorms here around Fayette County, they're moving at speeds to the northeast at 65 miles per hour. So you get the combination of the strong winds in association with the storms and also the fast movement of the storms themselves. And that can cause a lot of wind damage. So please stay weather alert, because again, it's a rapidly changing situation as these thunderstorms are moving very, very quickly off to the east. And even though much of the I-57 corridor has not been impacted, now it's headed in your direction. You are next in line to see these stronger thunderstorms. We were talking about that the watch areas have been shaved back from west to east. And as we take a look at that, again, multiple counties from Peoria down through Jacksonville, you're in the clear right now. Looks okay too around Greene, Jersey, and Macoupin counties, but it's the folks to the east, we're still under tornado watches. That means conditions are favorable in and around those areas shaded in yellow where you might be seeing more tornadoes being spun up. So we are definitely going to be watching the situation here very closely over the next several minutes. Our key mission here is to keep you folks safe. So even though it may not be storming where you are, we've got such a large viewing area. Someplace within our viewing area, we are seeing some severe weather right now, including tornadoes. So we're trying to keep you abreast as to what's happening around the region. Now, earlier today, we had peak wind gusts right around 50 to 60 miles per hour for many folks here, and we're still seeing some really nasty winds around the area. So the winds have been wicked today, and we have reports now from Loami and New Berlin earlier today. Some of these winds were being around 60 to 70 miles. Yeah, some of these were from the strong winds from earlier before the storms even hit, but then we also had reports too of certainly some strong winds in association directly with the thunderstorms themselves. So a lot of wind damage we've had reports of some farm buildings being flipped over. There was some heavy roof damage that was done in Andrew in Sangamon County. So, and some of the stronger winds that I saw earlier today, right around Macomb. Places like Pike and Calhoun counties just to the west of the Illinois River, they had reports of ping pong ball sized hailstones. So between the hail, the strong winds, and that report of some tornadoes here and there, it has been a very, very active, very prolific evening, that is for sure. So let's take a look at our radar again. We still have active tornado warnings right now in effect, and it's mainly for some of our south central counties. It's mainly running from around the Shelbyville area, so from Shelby County, tornado warning right now through midnight. And then just south of there, we have our tornado warnings as well. Now this is now affecting Effingham County and also too for Fayette County, still under tornado warnings as well. So our latest one that just popped up is for Effingham County right now under a tornado warning until midnight. So that's until the top of the hour. So again, a lot of busy weather, multiple concerns going on, folks. So please keep it tuned here. We'll keep you with the very latest information. Let's go back now to our fellow meteorologist, Darren Leeds, and see what's going on from his perspective over there. Darren?
Yeah, and Cheryl, wanted to talk about the tornado warning we currently have in Shelby County. And like I keep reiterating, I really like this Storm Track tool because this just popped up maybe a couple of minutes ago, but yes, we see that rotation in this. That does indicate we are seeing rotation within that thunderstorm. But notice this little cloud. That's also an indicator of possible tornadic debris. Now, we haven't heard of a confirmed tornado yet around just southeast of Pana and to the southeast of Pana, southwest of Shelbyville. I'm kind of trying to get my bearings here, but yes, very southwestern Shelby County, but also those winds could be driving up maybe some dirt, some dust, but definitely our storm tracks are picking up on that a little bit. So it was just indicating it. Now we're starting to see that tornadic debris die off a little bit more, but still very strong rotation within this. And that is what we've been seeing on radar pretty much for the last several hours with this line of storms that has been making its way through central Illinois. Is we're getting mainly winds and the heavy rain, the lightning, the hail, but we are starting to see more of that rotation embedded in that line. So far, just a few tornado warnings. No confirmed tornadoes just yet, but even our velocity, yeah, that's kind of the area we're kind of taking a look at, is where you can start to see some of those darker shades of green around this lighter section of green right on the corner of Christian County there. And like I said, to the southeast of Pana, to the southwest of Shelbyville, but making its way northeasterly, still kind of has that same track that we've been watching with a lot of these storms, is they're progressing towards the northeast and still driving their way closer towards Interstate 57, but right now encompassing much of our central counties here in central Illinois, or at least our counties that are nestled between Interstate 57. See some rain at this point in time, but yes, we still have quite a bit more of the strong storm activity yet to go. So latest storm reports still have not been picking up on any reports of funnels, any reports of tornadoes here around central Illinois. It's mainly been wind reports, a few wind damage reports further off to the west, but we haven't been seeing those getting reported as these storms are making their way east of I-55. So maybe initial signs that we are starting to see some slight weakening, at least in the core strength of the storms, but still enough where we're seeing rotation coming in with these as well. So want to jump back over and see what else we are currently dealing with around central Illinois. Talking about that tornado warning that we had for Shelby County. Let's take another look where we are still seeing it. So right, Shelby, Fayette, Effingham counties under those tornado warnings currently. That's what we are seeing. Let's get the latest information. We are talking about Shelby County, so we will start with Shelby County. So again, tornado warning in effect until midnight, about the next half hour or so, just for Shelby County right now. Severe thunderstorm, possibly capable of producing a tornado, located over the Herrick area, 12 miles south of Pana, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. Tornado is going to be one of our bigger threats, but we have been seeing ping pong ball sized hail also going to be the secondary threat in that. Radar indicating rotation. So again, no storm spotter on the ground has reported seeing a funnel cloud or seeing a tornado. But our bigger impact is going to be that flying debris, and especially with that tornadic debris that we were picking up on with our storm track tool. That's going to be something we're wanting to keep our eyes on going forward as it works its way closer to Shelbyville. Let's take a look at the cell that is coming through Fayette County. So at 11:17, about 10 minutes ago, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 6 miles south of Vandalia, moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. Big hazards with this. Again, tornadic threat, $half size hail, that's 1.25 inches, so a little bit smaller than the hail threat we were seeing around Shelby County. But this storm will be near Pocahontas around 10:55, Beaver Creek around 11. That is outdated information. Let me see. It is past 11 o'clock right now. So we're going back down to Fayette County. Still not seeing much indication of rotation, but that would be my best guess. Is going to be north of Interstate 70 to the northeast of Vandalia. But again, we said that storm moving at 65 miles per hour. So very quickly, that's probably some of the quicker storm speeds that we've been picking up on this evening with a lot of these storms that have been coming through the region. Let's jump over to Effingham County. And that one looks like it's an extension of the tornado warning coming through Fayette County. So National Weather Service has issued the tornado warning, and that is until midnight tonight for Effingham, Douglas, Mound, and Watson counties. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Brownstown, near Vandalia, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So again, that's going to be that area of rotation that we were picking up on just a couple seconds ago. That was just northeast of Vandalia and north of 70, west of St. Elmo area. So again, that area right in there is about where we were seeing that. So still moving its way very quickly to the northeast, but radar still indicating rotation in these thunderstorms. Big threat is going to be the potential for that tornado, golf ball size hail, and possible flying debris with the stronger winds that we've been watching come through the region. But if we can try and see, this is what I am focusing on right now. That is going to be the area of rotation that is in question right now. So right around the Avena area, north of Interstate 70, and again, that cell moving 65 miles per hour to the northeast. With that tornado warning, then going to extend into Effingham County, but in effect until midnight tonight. Still picking up on that rotation, fairly significant, just west of Shelbyville right now. Still, once again, radar indicated, also in effect until midnight this evening. But let's see if we can kind of pinpoint where that better area of rotation is going to be. And again, this moving towards the radar site is green. We want to see red making its way away from the radar site, but yeah, you kind of get a little bit of that mixing happening west of Shelbyville, but in that area we start to get those darker, those lighter colors, and that kind of is also a pretty good indication, but we want to see the clearest indication that we can to make sure we can pinpoint exactly where this thunderstorm could possibly spawn that tornado, or where the greatest circulation is kind of within that storm system. But yeah, our winds have been very significant this evening. That hail threat also still looks like it is remaining very dominant, between about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches. And like we said, up to ping pong ball sized hail. But these storms still packing quite a punch as they're coming through central Illinois. And some of our areas starting to calm down. Other areas haven't quite even seen some of the worst that this storm system is going to offer. Still, let's take a look at what we're getting with the hail, where some of the more significant hail reports are at this point in time. So, still looks like that large hail is coming through Fayette County. We've been picking up on that for about the last hour at least, but just before Vandalia, we're seeing it close to 2 inches in diameter. We had it about 1.75 inches. You can see in that central core there, we're getting those shades of pink just to the east of Mulberry Grove, just south of Bear Grove, but showing signs that it is at least dropping some of the size as it progresses towards the northeast, but the storm's still very strong at this point in time. So let's zoom out and again recap our 2 tornado warnings for Effingham, Shelby, and now it looks like we have a new one for Macon County. We are going to jump right on that one first. Radar indicated. So right around central Macon County, and this is going to extend into Piatt County as well. But we have also that tornado warning issued until midnight this evening. Cities that would be impacted: Decatur, Hickory Point, Long Creek, Mount Zion. But radar is showing rotation, hail being picked up about 1.5 inches. So once again, if you are in the Decatur area, if you're in Macon County, especially northeastern portion of the county and central portions of the county, and then into far western Piatt County, make sure you're getting to your safe space right now. You want to get to the most interior portion of your home. Avoid windows. If you have a basement, the basement is going to be the safest place to be. We're going to jump back over to our rotation. So this is what I'm looking at right here. It's going to be south of Decatur is going to be that strongest area of rotation, just to the west of Mount Zion, east of Route 51 and Veterans Parkway on the south side of Decatur. That seems to be our area in question right now. Why we're seeing that tornado warning get triggered in Macon County. And again, that storm system moving very quickly, just these other ones have been. But yes, Decatur area, Mount Zion area, you're going to want to head to your safe place right now. Moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So these storms still very fast moving, very dynamic, very dangerous. We have been seeing rotation. We have not been hearing reports of any tornadoes. Hail size still remains very dangerous if you happen to be caught outside in this system. 1.5 inches hail. That puts us around ping pong ball size hail, golf ball size hail. So very large hailstones. Once again, if you are in Macon County, southern, central, northeastern portions of the county, get to your safe place. Interior portion of your house, put as many layers between you and the outside walls as possible, inside hallways, inside closets, inside bathrooms, if you don't have a basement. If you do have a basement, that is your best place to go. Again, we talk about covering yourself with blankets, mattresses. We've even thrown around, children's baseball helmets, maybe even a bike helmet. But if there happens to be flying debris, broken glass, that helmet is going to protect you from being seriously injured. If you do have in your safe place, want to have probably one of all of these items. Like we said, that helmet, make sure you've got some water, maybe some food, snacks, weather radio, flashlight, first aid kit, and your cell phone. Make sure that cell phone is charged. If it's not, you need a charger, and make sure it is staying charged so you can receive our updates. Updates from the National Weather Service via that weather radio are also going to be extremely helpful to pinpoint exactly where that storm is, where that storm is going next. So we said 1.5 inches size. That puts us around ping pong ball size. Some of those cells we've also been seeing producing golf ball size hail. Those winds today have been extremely strong, and these are even our non-storm winds. We've been seeing them between 45 to 60 miles per hour across the region, and these have been one of the big driving factors in our storm development out there for today. So once again, we have got a tornado warning for central Macon County, central Shelby County, and for Effingham County. All of these remain in effect until midnight. So for the next 20 minutes, we are going to want to get to our safe shelter in our home. Make sure you are avoiding windows. That is going to be the big thing, especially with the winds being as strong as what they are. Still, it does look like we are picking up on areas of rotation to the east of Decatur now, just north of Mount Zion. This is going to be that area. This little hook is going to be our best indicator of where that rotation is currently at its strongest. We get those green and reds beginning to mix a little bit more, but red making its way away from the radar, green is making its way towards the radar. Once we start to see that mixing, that gives us a really good idea of where that potential tornado could spawn if it were to spawn a tornado, but gives us the idea of where we want to focus on and what areas would be susceptible of possibly seeing that. So again, this right around the Long Creek area, actually, south of Interstate 72 and right along 36, just north of Mount Zion, just to the southeast of Decatur. So again, we're going to go back over to Shelby County. Starting to see hail sizes drop a little bit more. Let's see if we have a new update. So at 11:39, we did see a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado right near Shelbyville. It is moving northeast at 45 miles per hour, so it seems like they are starting to slow down a little bit. Still radar indicating rotation. At 11:45, this storm will be near the Findlay area. So we can also see where this storm is going to be moving next. Let's get our measuring tool out. So at 45 miles per hour, moving northeast. So 11:51 around the Lithia area. And we can even go a little bit further than that since these storms continue to kind of move in the same direction. 11:51, 11:52 around Lithia, Sullivan, 12:23 if this storm continues to maintain its current speed, 12:30 around Chips. And again, we're looking at that cell that is just south of the Shelbyville area. This spot right here, likely where we're seeing that rotation. So let's zoom out again and we will look at our cell in Effingham. We will get our handy storm tracking tool. And again, picking up on that rotation well west of Effingham, pretty much right along the Fayette and Effingham County border, right around Mound. But yes, you can see that area, that stronger cell. But let's get an update on this storm as well. So 2 minutes ago, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Shumway, 9 miles west of Effingham, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. Tornado and golf ball sized hail are going to be our biggest threats with this cell. Radar is indicating rotation, and this storm looks like it is going to be passing by Effingham at 11:50. If you are in northern Effingham County, you are going to want to get to your safe place, most interior portion of your home, of your business. Again, we want you to be safe. We want you to be protected. We want you to be up to date, and we want to avoid any injuries or potential loss of life. Still looks like a fairly large area of rotation with this cell. This, from Dry Point down just north of Interstate 70, is very indicative of where we've got some pretty significant circulation with this cell, and kind of starting to see them converge a little bit as well. But yes, these storms, very strong, moving very quickly, and still quite a ways to go, as it does look like they will be going through Cumberland, Coles, Douglas County, and that cell that we were looking at around Macon County, finding its way eventually into Piatt County and likely over around the Monticello area. Also, it does appear that the cell that we've been looking at around Decatur, Mount Zion, starting to drop a little bit, with our hail size being reported 1 inch now. We were seeing it closer to about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, but that storm definitely looks like starting to weaken a little bit more. Let's jump over to our hail tracks and see what we are starting to see with the latest. Really doesn't seem like we're even picking up on anything around Decatur, which is odd. Macon County looking clear as far as the hail reports go, but still very much still existent from Fayette County on through into Effingham County with that other cell, that other tornadic cell that we were looking at. And again, that was kind of that area of rotation from Dry Point past Loudon into Moccasin and north of Mound and north of Interstate 70. And again, that is 9 miles east of the city of Effingham. So again, we are expecting that storm to just kind of clip the north side of Effingham. But still, 3 tornado warnings currently in effect until midnight. That goes for the next 13 minutes. As you can see, we are starting to see a lot of those tornado watches get dropped for our more western communities, especially along and west of I-55. So Macoupin County, done. Sangamon County, Morgan County, Scott County, Greene County, Mason, Menard, Logan, Tazewell. Pretty much looking at the calmer weather come in at this point in time. But yes, we are starting to see those showers slowly progress their way out of Springfield. Jacksonville looks dry. Beardstown looks dry at this point. But it does still look like some of those more southern storms still on the stronger side. And even if we back up a little bit and kind of take a wider view, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings pretty much around Ford, Iroquois County, up around Livingston County, not in Champaign, not in Douglas at all, but then down closer to Moultrie County, Coles County, Shelby County, Cumberland, Fayette, and Effingham. We are still looking at severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings that remain in effect for about the next 10 minutes or so. So we did expect these storms to really begin to weaken up the farther east that they go, and that seems to be kind of what we have been seeing, at least over the last 10, 15 minutes or so. But yes, we've been watching hail diameter size start to drop off in a lot of these cells that we've been seeing over the last half hour coming through. We're starting to see the speeds actually slow down a little bit more as well. and haven't really been getting as many wind reports or wind damage reports the farther east these systems have continued to progress. Yes, we did see some around Sangamon areas west of 55, but winds still going to be strong out there, but definitely starting to lose a little steam, if you will, as they continue to kind of migrate onto the eastern half of the state and closer to Interstate 57. Those rainfall rates definitely going to be picking up, especially closer to Champaign, Mattoon, probably over the next 20 minutes or so. I think our power just went out a little bit here. So I'm still on the air as far as I know. I can still hear myself talking, so my computer still seems to be working. Let's jump back over and make sure that everything is good. Yes, my director Craig told me we are still good. So thank you, Craig. I appreciate it because I about had a panic attack. Let's see if we can get a couple more updates. And I apologize, my nose is running a little bit, but last update, 7 minutes to go for Macon and Piatt counties. Still capable of producing a tornado, but it was located near Decatur, still moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So if you remember, we were seeing around 50 miles per hour initially with that cell, then 45 miles per hour, now at 40 miles per hour. But definitely starting to slow down a little bit with that cell. Looks like around the Monticello area, we can expect that storm around 12:05. That's about 15 minutes from now. So the bulk of this cell pretty much starting to migrate out of Decatur, Mount Zion. It's going to be going through Cerro Gordo, Forsyth. You're likely going to miss some of the worst of it. Maroa up there to the north, you'll likely miss out on the bulk of that as well, but pretty much going to continue to ride its way northeast towards Monticello. Bement also looks like you guys are kind of going to dodge that as well, but hail sizes continue to drop. That's a good sign that things are weakening with this storm system. Let's go back south. Shelbyville, that has been very persistent with not seeing that polygon move much. And our last update came about 14 minutes ago, but still moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. We are seeing radar indicated rotation, hail around a $0.5 size, just a little bit larger than an inch, but still making its way slowly through Shelby County. And why? There we go. But yeah, still looks like we're seeing quite a large area of rotation pretty much just across the central portion of Shelby County in itself. But yes, a lot of mixing, and that is likely why we have been seeing its kind of slow progression to move past Shelbyville. But yes, this is going to be a large area in question. Very hard to kind of pinpoint a specific location if we did happen to get a confirmed tornado with this, but looks like it's kind of just sitting there and continuing to kind of spin, but eventually it's going to find its way up towards the northeast in Sullivan area. But Cheryl, what are you kind of seeing with some of these cells and some of the latest activity?
Yeah, it seems like over the last half an hour to an hour or so, most of the activity really has been concentrated over the south central part of our viewing area. So mainly around Fayette and Effingham and closer towards I-70. But again, as you were pointing out, some of the most recent activity, though, just popped up there near Decatur. Although that particular cell doesn't look to be as impressive as some of the other cells that we've been seeing, but needless to say, there's still that tornado warning that continues just to the east here of Decatur. So again, we are still under a tornado warning for places like Piatt County, and also eastern parts of Macon County still continue to be on tornado warning until the top of the hour. Officially goes until midnight. And we've been seeing the possibility for tornadoes, but also 2 quarter-size hailstones are not out of the question, so there could be some large hail, and also 2 very gusty winds. Now, this thunderstorm complex, at least that particular cell, is not moving as quickly as some of the other cells that we've been seeing earlier this evening. So this particular region here around Piatt County, those thunderstorms are moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So with that being said, there are concerns with the tornadic activity for the possibility of damage, of course, with those strong winds and the tornadoes. So just please be extra careful. But definitely it appears as if the most active part of this complex of storms is over the south central portion of the state, closer towards I-70. Here we have multiple counties that continue to be under tornado warnings. And this does include places like, again, we have tornado warnings right now for Shelby County. Also to the east of there, we have tornado warnings also for Coles, Shelby, Cumberland, back through Effingham County, and then down to the south, again, Effingham County, and yet again another small sliver of counties like Fayette and also Marion counties also remain under tornado warning. So wherever you see the shades of red, those red boxed areas, those are the active tornado warnings. If you live in a tornado warning area, you definitely do want to seek shelter immediately. We always advise you to go to the lowest level of your home, preferably in a basement, but if your house does not have a basement, that's still okay. Just go to the lowest level. You want to go to an interior room that's away from windows because, of course, one of the biggest concerns, the strong winds could cause the window panes to blow out. There could be a lot of blowing debris, some concerns with getting cut by the broken glass. So you want to stay away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, so go to an interior room. And it's always best to go underneath a sturdy piece of furniture, like maybe a workbench or maybe a desk of some sort. Get underneath a sturdy piece of furniture and just kind of hunker down there and protect yourself against any flying debris. And if it's available, cover yourself up with a blanket or a comforter. That too can help protect you from any flying debris. But at this point, we still have multiple counties currently under tornado warnings. And again, some of these are including Fayette and Marion counties. Most of these will be expiring very close to the top of the hour around midnight or shortly thereafter. But this is our main batch of thunderstorms that we're watching very closely right now. Big swath of thunderstorms, basically running between the I-55 corridor and the I-57 corridor. And the good news for our western communities, especially around Springfield and around Sangamon County, you have now been shaved back from that tornado watch. So if you live in Jacksonville, if you live in Springfield, if you live in Litchfield, maybe around Beardstown or Havana, you are right now in the clear, no longer under the tornado watch. It's these counties shaded in yellow, so it's mainly from central parts of the state around Decatur and Bloomington and points eastbound. You're still under this active tornado watch. And what that means is that conditions are very favorable in and around the watch area, where you might be seeing tornadoes being spun up, and you might be seeing some too destructive winds, and also to the possibility for some large hail as well. So we're going to be seeing all forms of severe weather. And this is something that we were talking about over the last few days as this big, impressive squall line blast through the region. You could see all forms of severe weather. And indeed, that has been playing out and coming to fruition. So again, at this point, we still have a handful of counties that remain under tornado warnings. Let's kind of break this down for you, and we'll zoom in a little bit. Here's one area under a tornado warning. This goes for the next couple of minutes, officially for Piatt and Macon counties. Now, we've been looking at the latest radar scan. It appears to be some weak circulation, but it certainly does not look as impressive as some of the other tornado warnings that we've seen this evening. But at any rate, still for Macon and Piatt County officially, still under a tornado warning until midnight. Head a little bit farther towards the south. Another warning here for Shelby County goes until midnight. Besides the tornado, there's a concern too for some large hail, perhaps hail the size of ping pong ball size hailstones. And then we've been seeing some really impressive weather here. Our latest tornado warnings too for Coles, Cumberland, Effingham, and Shelby counties there, southern parts of Shelby County, until 12:30. Again, besides the hail, there's also tornado threats too as well. And even farther to the south, that line also continues into another, again, parts of Shelby and Effingham counties, and that one goes until midnight. So multiple counties right now under the warnings. And you can see a lot of bright reflectivity here showing up on the radar, the brighter shades of the reds and the green, or the reds and the magentas. It does show some of the more intense core of these thunderstorms blasting their way across the region. So just a heads up, we've got some really rough weather here. Put a tracker on some of these thunderstorms to see what other communities might be affected. So let's say around the Effingham area. These are moving generally to the northeast, and they've been moving very quickly, generally at speeds of about 60 miles per hour or so. So based on that, Mattoon, a heads up for you, is headed your way around 12:17, so probably in the next 20 minutes or so. And then it could also be bearing down on Charleston and eventually too for Paris right before the top of the hour, right before 1 o'clock. So these thunderstorms are mainly a one and done deal. We're tracking the line of thunderstorms right now, charging its way across the region. But once this line of thunderstorms passes by the next couple of hours or so, that'll be it. We don't have to worry about the thunderstorms anymore for the rest of the weekend. But we still will have some residual winds, and that's still going to be a problem at least through tomorrow. But the winds will not be half as bad as what they were today. But it'll still be kind of a breezy, blustery weekend for sure. Even on Saturday, we're still talking about the possibility for wind gusts, maybe around 35, 45 miles per hour for some instances. So it'll still be very breezy and blustery, but definitely not as bad as what it has been. Check on some of the wind speeds here just in the last few minutes. Well, this was the higher gust from earlier today. Some of these gusts, like around Springfield, we had gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and definitely with winds that strong, you can certainly get some damage that's being done. But here most recently in the last few minutes, here's some of the peak wind gusts that we've been seeing. Again, winds still 40, 45 miles per hour, and around Paris, the winds were clocked at 52 miles per hour, and that's before the thunderstorms even came through the area. So we're seeing strong winds as a precursor before the storms roll in, then the storms themselves come in, and the storms themselves are also packing some heavy-duty winds and some problems as far as the wind, but also to tornadoes, and also to causing some large hail. So let's take what's happening right now. Looks as if some of the tornado warnings that we had, they were allowed to expire as of midnight. So some of the other ones that we had, like around Piatt County, that is no longer a tornado warning. They're still under a severe thunderstorm warning though. So still some intense weather going on, but not at least tornadic. And at least at this juncture in time, it looks as if the only active tornado warning that we currently have in effect is for Coles, Cumberland, Effingham, and Shelby counties. And it goes through 12:30 this Saturday morning here. And again, besides the possibility for tornadoes, we also have the chance to see some large hail, maybe at least quarter-size hailstones with some of these thunderstorms. So let's put a reflectivity mode on here. We'll see what we can, anything that looks interesting with that. And looking back over the last several hours, we'll see if we can see any circulation taking place. It's kind of hard to say. Okay, now I'm seeing a little bit more as we put the scan a little bit further into motion. Okay, so looking at that, what we look at as far as a meteorological perspective, we kind of look at how the winds are shaping up, and it's all color-coded. So when the winds are going away from the radar site, those are shades of red. When the winds are going towards the radar site, it's shows of green. And typically when you see couplets like this, it does indicate kind of a twisting motion with the atmosphere, which can indicate tornadoes. So in this instance, as we take a look at the velocity mode with our radar, it is Doppler radar indicated that there's some kind of circulation taking place here, just to the north and east of Effingham, and that's what helped to prompt this latest tornado warning. So our tornado warning continues, Coles, Cumberland, back through Effingham, for Shelby counties. This goes till the bottom of the hour, till 12:30. Besides that threat for isolated tornadoes, there's also a chance to see some hail. There's a chance to see maybe quarter-size hailstones. So multiple weather hazards, multiple weather concerns, hail, the strong winds, and of course, isolated tornadoes will continue to persist, at least over this area. And we've definitely been seeing some busy weather here across the region. Again, lots of headaches going on, so it's been a very active, tumultuous Friday night, and now it's spilling over into the first part of your weekend. But these thunderstorms should be out of here in probably the next hour or two, and then finally we can breathe a lot easier because the weather will be calming down as we head into the weekend. Still some issues though with the wind, as we were mentioning. The winds will not be half as bad for Saturday as what they were for today. Let's take a look at some of the storm damage reports that we've had coming in. See if any more of those will populate. Well, let's see what we got going on here. A lot of these winds that we've reported though, some of this was from earlier today before the thunderstorms even rolled into the area. Here's one down here. What does this one say? It shows that there was some hail about the size 1 3/4 inches in diameter. So that would have been equivalent to golf ball size hailstones there in parts of Fayette County. Here up around Charleston, they had reports of some strong winds. Winds were up to 52-mile-per-hour winds there, but that again was non-thunderstorm winds. And then earlier today, back through Springfield, we had reports of some very strong winds here around the area, especially back through places like New Berlin and around Loami. I was reading a report, they had peak winds with some of these storms. Shortly after 10 o'clock, the winds with the thunderstorms there around Loami and New Berlin were being clocked at 60 to 70 miles per hour. So we've had some ferocious winds with these thunderstorms for sure. They've had a history of the strong winds, the hail, and of course 2 spinning up tornadoes. So a lot of concerns going on still for the next hour or so. Here's what it looks like now from our latest warnings and watches that we have going on. As I was mentioning, the good news is at least for Springfield and around Sangamon County, around the capital, we can breathe a lot easier. Things are calmed down now for the western part of our viewing area, but still we're from I-55 and points eastbound, we are still officially under tornado watches. The watch officially goes until 3 o'clock in the morning for Saturday morning. So we'll see how long that may play out because these thunderstorms have been moving fairly quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if things start to exit the area before that. So we might be able to allow this watch box to expire before that time frame. But at least officially the watch goes until 3 o'clock Saturday morning. So this is what it looks like from our radar perspective. Still seeing some pretty hefty thunderstorms rolling through and rumbling through the area. We've all been seeing a lot of lightning too, but right now it seems like the core of the strongest thunderstorms are over south central sections of the state, especially right around the I-70 corridor there, you can see. We still have tornado warnings right now in effect for Coles, Cumberland, Effingham, and Shelby counties until 12:30. Now, for those counties, again, we're telling you to seek shelter immediately. Here's some safety tips to keep in mind. Go to the lowest level of your home, go into an interior room. The most important thing is to put as many walls between you and the outside elements as possible. Of course, the biggest concern is maybe having the wind so strong it will blow out window panes. There'll be flying debris flying around. So you want to make sure that you cover yourself up, have a blanket, maybe a comforter, protect yourself from flying debris. And if you have maybe a motorcycle helmet or a football helmet, that would be a good idea too because it can help protect your head from any flying debris. But this is the time to take things seriously. Whenever there's a tornado warning that gets issued for your area, take it seriously and get hunkered down in your safe place in your home. If you live in a mobile home, we're always saying that the best thing to do is to seek out shelter in a sturdier, more substantial building because mobile homes, again, have had that history of being blown over very quickly. So we tell people to always make sure that you go into a more secure, steadier, sturdier structure if you live in a mobile home. And of course, you never want to be caught outside. You want to definitely seek shelter indoors in case a tornado warning ever gets issued for your area. So here's our latest radar. Again, compared to what it looked like earlier this evening, the areas under the tornado warnings have really been whittled down and really shaved back quite a bit. At any rate, though, we still have tornado warnings that continue, again, just for a handful of counties right now, but it's still impacting places like Coles, Cumberland, Effingham, and Shelby counties, still officially under a tornado warning until 12:30. Now, what we've seen is that these thunderstorms, again, have been moving very quickly. Overall, the history is that these thunderstorms have been moving now at speeds of about 50 miles per hour. So they've come down a little bit because earlier these winds were being, at least the thunderstorms were traveling at speeds of close to 60 miles per hour. Now the thunderstorms are moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So let's put a tracker on some of these thunderstorms. Thunderstorms right now are right in this general vicinity, and if they're moving northeast, we'll see some other communities that might be impacted. Okay, so a heads up for those of you in Pleasant Grove, shortly after 12:17, the next few minutes or so, you should be impacted. Charleston, heads up for you as they are headed in your direction. For Charleston, the thunderstorms should be rolling in by 12:22, and then also too for KZ and around the Greenup area, 12:41. And of course, too, for Paris at 12:51. So we'll see if these thunderstorms hold together, but those are some of the other communities that may be impacted by these stronger thunderstorms. Right now, as we look outside, don't really see a lot. It's being between the darkness and still being obscured, and we're still seeing some leftover residual rain showers too here around Springfield. So there's still some rain out there, but at least Springfield, the threat for severe weather has been discontinued because we are no longer under the tornado watch, at least for Springfield, but we're still seeing some rain coming down. Here's what it looks like as far as our tornado watches and warnings are concerned. So again, right now, Springfield and Sangamon County no longer under any watches or warnings right now, but to the east, we have yet again a new tornado warning that has just been issued, and that is for Champaign County. They are right now under a tornado warning. Are we tossing it to Darren? I couldn't make, okay, yeah, okay. So with this, with the storm right now bearing down on your neck of the woods, Darren, what's it looking like right now?
Yeah, and Cheryl, we've definitely been starting to hear some of the activity outside pick up quite a bit. The heavier rain making its way over. You can kind of hear the winds really starting to howl out there as well. But yes, that new tornado warning just issued about a minute ago for southern Champaign. There right now, that's in west of the Tuscola area, but in effect until 12:45. So for about the next half hour, the storm is moving quickly, but covering quite a pretty large distance as they're traveling across more of our eastern counties. So yes, radar indicating rotation, hail size around an inch. We're starting to see those hail diameters significantly kind of drop off. Earlier today, we were seeing 2-inch hail. In the last couple of hours, we've seen it closer to 1.5 inches. Now picking up on more just 1-inch reports. That puts it around 1/4 of size for what those hailstones are going to be looking like. But taking a look at what we're seeing as far as our storm tracks go, it does look like some of those areas of rotation still kind of around southern Piatt County. Haven't quite seen it yet developing or any indicator from our storm tracks. You can see just to the southwest and west of Tuscola there in far western Douglas County. But picking up on some of that rotation, especially in far western Douglas County. Keep wanting to say southern county as well. But yes, large area of kind of rotation where we have kind of seen some of those previous tornado warnings get issued, where we are seeing quite a bit of rotation within these clouds, but thankfully no reported tornadoes. And again, that's what we'd like to see with a severe weather event, is kind of avoiding that tornadic threat. But yes, still maintaining some very strong thunderstorms at this point in time, because they are still triggering more severe thunderstorm warnings and a few of those tornado warnings, as we just kind of talked about. So I'm going to jump off here and try and grab some of our latest information with the newest tornado warning in Douglas and Champaign County. So going to kind of backtrack a little bit here, so bear with me. But this just came across at 12:07, so 5 minutes ago. But tornado warning for southern Champaign, again, western Douglas County, until 12:45 a.m. 5 minutes ago, we detected that severe thunderstorm making its way into western Douglas County, capable of producing a tornado located around the Arthur area near Arcola, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So these storms starting to speed up a little bit more at this point in time. But we did expect those stronger storms to kind of maintain some of those quicker speeds. But the last couple of cells, especially down around Effingham area, we started to kind of see a little bit of a slowdown and kind of losing a little bit of its steam, which would kind of indicate that it is beginning to weaken. So this storm is going to be near the Tuscola area in about the next couple of minutes, honestly. Villa Grove, Pasodum around 12:20 in 7 minutes, and Philo around 12:25. So again, this storm still looks like it is kind of generating a bit of steam as it's working its way in, but not quite picking up on much rotation. Let's go a little bit further south. Now it does appear we have an observed tornado in Coles and Cumberland County. Let's get the latest on this. So just a minute ago, we have a confirmed tornado over Lerna near Mattoon, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Cumberland and Coles County, right now I want you to, if you're not already there, get to your safe space in your home. Most interior part of your house. Put as many layers of walls between you and the outside of the home. Avoid windows. And again, make sure that you have a way to stay updated, whether it's with a weather radio or our Storm Team app. But flying debris is going to be a big factor with this. It does still look like this storm is going to remain over rural areas of southwestern Coles County and Cumberland County, and just has exited around the Effingham County area. So, areas that this will impact in the next half hour are going to be Trilla, Loxa, Etna, Woodbury, the Coles County Airport, and Paradise. But let us see if we can pinpoint exactly where this tornado is. So, once again, we are seeing the tornado confirmed over the Lerna area near Mattoon. Etna is also in the path, Neoga. All right, while I'm working on this, we're going to throw it outside to Carson Gordy, who is in Champaign. Carson, what do you got out there right now?
Yeah, right now we've definitely seen earlier today it was in the 79 degrees. It has obviously gotten a lot colder, and since I've been standing here, the rain has really picked up. We've seen lightning, and in Champaign, I don't know if you can hear it through my microphone, but we're hearing the sirens. That's because there's been a tornado warning issued from the National Weather Service. It's going to be going through 12:45. We've been tracking Ameren. That's the utility company that supplies a lot of power and electricity to companies. Last time I checked Decatur, they only had 3 outages, only affecting 3 people. So far we haven't seen an uptick in that so far. But definitely the wind is starting to pick up, and with the tornado warnings, they're saying if you're outside, you need to be careful of flying debris. If you have a basement inside your house and your home, they recommend that you go inside and take caution. Right now it's around 12:10, 12:15, I think. So we still have another half hour of having this tornado warning. But definitely, if you just go outside and feel the conditions, a lot windier, a lot chillier, lightning, rain. So this is something that we're going to be continuing to update you throughout the day. And if you don't have the National Weather Service, you're not getting those notifications, you can download some of our company's apps, the Fox Illinois Storms team, or stuff from WICS. I'm Carson Gordy in Champaign. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Carson. And again, you can hear the tornado sirens currently going off in the Champaign area. Also have a tornado warning in effect for Douglas and Champaign counties. But we again have a confirmed tornado near the Lerna area around Coles County. So let's take a look at that once again. And this cell just making its way past Lerna, but we did get confirmed that there is a tornado on the ground. So Coles County, make sure you're getting to the most interior part of your home. Get to your basement if you have one. Again, make sure you're putting many layers between yourself and the outside of your house. We will likely get flying debris with this and can likely see possible injuries associated with it. But taking a current look where we're starting to see a little bit more of that rotation, we've got that green going towards the radar, red is moving away from the radar. But Lerna, yeah, pretty much in the section, it looks like maybe just pushing its way off towards the northeast of the Lerna area and kind of making its way south of Mattoon right now. Let's get a little bit of a wider picture on this cell. But this is going to be the area that we're kind of focusing on. Is going to be southeast of Mattoon, south of Loxa, southwest of Charleston. So Charleston, if you are in the Charleston area, Eastern Illinois University, make sure you are finding your safe shelter right now. Once again, we have a confirmed tornado on the ground. And this tornado is capable of producing about inch-size hail, and we have seen that newer tornado emergency get issued, but pretty much just east of Interstate 57, north of Pleasant Grove, is going to be the area where we are currently watching for, but moving towards Charleston. And again, this tornado warning, newest update 2 minutes ago for eastern Coles County, 1218 tornado producing storm located over Lerna near Charleston, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So again, Lerna just kind of to the southeast of the Newby area. And here we go, we're going to see Charleston getting there in about 20 minutes. Bushton at 12:56. So again, Loxa area, Charleston area, find your safe place now. There is a confirmed tornado on the ground in eastern Coles County. This tornado has been confirmed. It has been observed by a train spotter, and we will likely see flying debris. So make sure you're getting to the most interior part of your home. Once again, if you do not have a basement, interior hallways, a closet, a stairwell, a bathroom, but anywhere that is clear of windows. And once again, putting yourself most interior portion of your house. Those hail sizes around 1 inch in diameter. So they are a little bit on the smaller side compared to what we've been seeing since earlier today. But this storm is definitely very powerful. So the Lerna area, likely right now, we are currently seeing this storm east of I-57, north of Pleasant Grove, east of Newby, just to the northwest of Campbell, and to the southwest of Charleston, south of Loxa. But this is going to be that area in question that we're looking at right now. Let's go over to our velocity. Making its way closer to the Charleston area. So Charleston, once again, I want you to get to your safe place. This is going to be the area where we're questioning exactly where that tornado currently is. It is moving fast, 55 miles per hour, and it is packing a lot with it. We can be seeing flying debris out there. So again, safe place now. You should hopefully already be there. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground. It is around eastern Coles County, east of Interstate 57, and moving towards Charleston. Ashmore, you're likely going to be in the path of this system as well. So we're going to pull out our tracking tool, and we are going to measure when we're expecting this. Charleston, 2-minute arrival time. To Ashmore, 12:36, so a little bit more than 10 minutes. Morgan, 12:38, so about 15 minutes from now. Oakland at 12:46, up there around far northeastern Coles County. Again, this is a dangerous storm system. I want to make sure everybody is staying safe, getting to the most interior part of your home, and make sure you avoid windows. Again, we are going to stay with you throughout the entirety of this storm, but this right now is going to be our big area of concern. Now making its way through Charleston, it appears. So that is currently what we are going to be dealing with. Lerna, looks like the worst is past you guys, but Charleston, yes. This around here, south of Lincoln or 16, southwest of the city of Charleston limits, that is where we're looking at this tornado making its way through. Likely could be impacting Eastern Illinois University. Right now, yeah, this thing is really starting to pick up steam now. Pretty much centered right over the Charleston area. So again, everyone, make sure you are hunkering down. It is moving quickly, so it is going to pass fairly quickly. But this is a very dangerous storm system. We're going to see if we can get the latest updates on this for you, because this right now is our active situation. So, latest update still just from a couple minutes ago, but tornado warning remains in effect for the next 20 minutes until 12:45. Also likely going to be impacting eastern Coles County and then progressing north of Lincoln, north of 16, down in Coles County, making its way towards the northeast. The storm is moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. Again, dangerous tornado situation. We have confirmed that there is a tornado on the ground, but the storm will continue to make its way to the northeast. So make sure you move to your basement, move to the most interior portion on the lowest floor of your home. Avoid windows. If you're caught outside in this, you can be significantly injured. So make sure you're protecting yourself from flying debris. Hail size around an inch. So once again, that isn't our main concern with this storm. It is going to be that tornadic threat that we are seeing with this system. So let's see if we can get our latest velocity. Yes, quickly making its way through Charleston. Now looks like it's progressing just north of 16, at least right around Charleston, Eastern Illinois University campus, but still making its way towards the northeast. This will then begin to make its way towards Ashmore. So Ashmore, now is your time to get to your safe space. This storm is making its way to the northeast. It is moving very quickly, 50 miles per hour, and it is going to continue to progress until we begin to see it dissipate. Ashmore, Oakland, and then eventually as this system makes its way over into Edgar County, looks like it would make its way past Paris, but still we could be looking at parts of eastern Douglas County also being affected by this. Big area of rotation, but we seem to know this is our trouble area that's just past to the northeast of Charleston. So Ashmore, once again, move to your safe place, most interior part of your home or your business. And again, we have gotten a confirmed tornado on the ground in Charleston. We also still have some tornado warnings around Champaign County, Eastern Piatt County. Let us get the latest data on those as well. So, Charleston, once again, tornadoes past you, but Ashmore, Eastern Coles County, that tornado is making its way your direction. So we have a tornado warning in effect until 12:45 for Eastern Piatt, okay, until 1 o'clock in the morning, now clear of Piatt County, and between Mahomet and Champaign, That is until 1 o'clock in the morning. So, severe storm capable of producing a tornado located near Ivesdale, near Monticello, so making its way to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Biggest hazard is going to be that tornado threat, but radar indicated rotation. We have not gotten a report of a tornado actually being on the ground. So I'm actually getting reports from a friend down in Coles County right now. They are hearing sirens, they are seeing rotation at 12:17 in the morning, so about 13 minutes ago. But they did have the report of the observed tornado. So we have 2 tornado warnings in effect for Champaign County. One until 12:45, one until 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, we are seeing radar indicated rotation with both of these storm cells. But tornado warnings starting to progress their way further and further to the east. These are going to be the areas where we're starting to see that rotation around Champaign. So around Urbana and west of St. Joe, to the north of Tolono, and to the west of Sydney. Also looks like this is another area where we're seeing rotation around the northwest side of Champaign and likely making its way closer to Rantoul. But these storms still moving very quickly to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. These are also going to be a big concern and something that we're going to be paying attention to. Let's see if we've got any new storm reports other than what we've already been seeing today with the winds. So no reports around Mattoon, Charleston just yet. Around Champaign area still, our only storm reports are those of our strong winds from earlier this afternoon. So that is a good sign. So, getting reports from the National Weather Service, the rotation that was approaching the Tolono area has fallen apart. Gusty straight line winds, but rotation near Bonneville is still ongoing. That new warning we just discussed was just issued for that. From emergency manager in Coles County, Miles Trueblood, the rotation west of Ashmore is more broad now than it once was. They're seeing more of an enhanced surge and bow, but a history of tornadoes with that same cell. That's the same one that we saw coming through Effingham, Fayette counties, Bond counties, and that came from the St. Louis metro area. So they're going to continue to have a tornado warning in place for that one. But good to get reports from some of the guys on the ground down there. So once again, 2 tornado warnings in Champaign County, another tornado warning, and that is primarily focused on eastern Coles County and far northeastern Cumberland County. But we have a tornado emergency in effect for eastern Coles County. That seems to be the one that is of higher concern at this point in time. And our latest update still coming from about 20 minutes ago. But if you are in the path of this storm around Ashmore, now we're starting to see that get extended over into Edgar County, southern Vermilion County. So now we have to focus on parts of northern Edgar County. So Kansas area, Buck, Embarrass, Garland, Wetzel, and then eventually Chrisman up in far northern Edgar County. Now you guys are going to be under that new tornado warning that is extending off of this one. But once again, we're going to stay with you and keep you updated on everything that is happening. And just to kind of recap, here are our areas right now where we are still seeing current tornado warnings in effect at this hour in central Illinois. So 2 in Champaign County, those until 12:45 and 1 o'clock respectively. We've still got that tornado emergency in effect for eastern Coles County, but now we are seeing that get extended over into Edgar County, far eastern Douglas County, and then southern Vermilion County. But these storms continue to progress their way northeasterly. They're moving very quickly, and it does look like almost starting to make their way out of central Illinois and then again over into western Indiana. So we are going to continue to keep you posted on the latest with everything, but the one in Coles County, that's where we're getting that tornado emergency issued. We're seeing that very large area of rotation making its way in with that cell. But it does appear that our trouble area now kind of progressing closer to Casey, down there in Cumberland County, pretty much just pushing its way into far eastern Coles County, and then finding its way eventually over into Edgar County as well. We've got the 2 cells in Champaign. Let's see if we can get a new update on those. 1222 was our latest update. So making its way still northeast at 60 miles per hour, starting to pick up speed again. It looks like these storms, the quicker that they can get out of here, the quicker we can all rest easy for this evening. Why don't we, we've still got Carson Gordy outside. Carson, what are we seeing around the Champaign area? We've got the 2 tornado warnings back, but what are conditions kind of like outdoors right now?
Yeah, definitely. If you can go inside, I would definitely recommend it. Earlier, I was trembling. It's definitely starting to get more colder, more windier. The rain is also starting to get colder, and we've been checking Ameren. That's the power company that supplies electricity to a lot of people in the central side of Illinois. I saw 1,800 people in Shelbyville out of power at this time. Pena, we saw an additional 1,400. Another neighboring town, we saw 1,800. So if you want to add that up and do the quick math, that's around 3,600 people without power right now. When I was out here 20 minutes ago, there was only 6 people affected in the eastern side of the market. So this is definitely weather that is starting to pick up and starting to affect the external conditions. You know, we've heard that there's going to be a tornado watch until 12:45. They recommend if you're outside, you need to be careful that debris. If you got a basement, go ahead and go underneath. This is definitely, the conditions are definitely getting worse at this time. The rain is cold, it's a lot windier, and people are losing power at this time. And if you don't get any updates from the National Weather Service, be sure to follow us on Fox Illinois or WICS to get your updates for the weather. I'm Carson Gordy in Champaign. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Carson. And again, we are still monitoring this line of storms. The farther east it progresses, but right now we've got severe thunderstorm warnings from around Kankakee down through Champaign and as far south as Effingham County. We're going to throw things back over to Chief Meteorologist Cheryl Lemke for a check on the latest. Cheryl?
Yeah, Darren, it should be noted, as you were mentioning, though, that the brunt of the activity right now certainly has shifted off towards the east. So it's mainly along and just to the east of the I-57 corridor, where we have a whole plethora of counties right now under severe thunderstorm warnings. And within that area, we also have several counties that remain under tornado warnings. Also note, if you look closely at the radar, we are seeing some redevelopment trying to take place for places like maybe like around Montgomery, Macoupin County, some thunderstorms there, although we do not expect those to become severe. But right now we still have some very, very active, very stormy weather throughout the eastern part of the state. And as we zoom in closer, several counties remain under tornado warnings. And in just a couple of those, definitely Champaign. You are really getting clobbered right now. We have a couple tornado warnings, both impacting Champaign County. Warnings go for the next few minutes until 12:45, and then the one towards a little bit farther to the north here goes until 1 o'clock for northern parts of Champaign County, which does include the city of Rantoul. Besides the threat for tornadoes, there could also be some large hail, perhaps quarter-size hailstones with some of these thunderstorms. Shifting just to the east of there, a relatively new warning just came over too around Coles, Douglas, Edgar, and Vermilion counties right now under tornado warning. So if you live in these communities, please seek shelter immediately. Go to the lowest level of your home. Go into an interior room. Stay away from windows because, of course, there could be quite a bit of flying debris. A lot of damage can be done. A lot of personal injury can take place. So you don't want to be anywhere close to windows because there could be some flying glass and flying debris. So stay away from windows. So get hunkered down right now in Coles, Cumberland, or Coles, Douglas, and Vermilion counties right now under tornado warnings. And then just to the south of there, we've also had very active thunderstorms blasting their way from around the Charleston area. Earlier, there was a confirmed tornado right around Lerna near Mattoon, with this thunderstorm complex moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. And now it's that cell that continues to bear down on Coles and Cumberland County, with that tornado warning continuing at least for the next few minutes until 12:45. On top of that, too, we could certainly have some large destructive hail. So the most active part and the most robust part of this thunderstorm complex does seem to be right around just to the east of Charleston and north of Casey. We can see a lot of lightning strikes here. There has been reports of a hail core too. Just a really, really intense cell here. And let's put a velocity mode on here. We can kind of see maybe some sort of circulation that's been taking place. So try taking it back over the last several hours. And we are certainly seeing some rotation. So again, we're seeing that rotation there right around Charleston, lifting up now past Charleston, and then heading up. Yeah, you can definitely see, oftentimes what we look at where we see the shades of the greens and the reds. Whenever the Doppler radar, at least the velocity mode, whenever it's showing up in green, that means the winds are going towards the radar side, and the red shows the winds are coming towards the radar side. You can kind of envision this, as the winds are moving around in different direction, it can cause a twisting motion. So that was one of the initial spin-ups that we saw just very close to the Charleston area. But since then, that twisting rotation continues to work its way north and eastbound. So again, it's heading up there, and so it continues to migrate off towards the north and the east. Seeing this line of thunderstorms, again, moving very quickly, moving at speeds roughly around 50 miles per hour or so. So a very, very active situation here. And as we take another vantage point here, this is the reflectivity mode. And whenever you see the brighter shades of the oranges and the reds and the magenta, that really shows us some of the more intense parts of this thunderstorm complex. And again, indeed, it is just to the east of Charleston right now, and it continues to work up through Coles in Cumberland County. So we have a plethora of counties that are still under some active warnings right now. Here's just to kind of summarize what's going on, especially now if you live over the western part of the state, from around Decatur, Taylorville, Springfield, points westbound. Thankfully, you can breathe a lot easier. You are in the clear. It's the folks in the east, especially along the I-57 corridor and over towards the Indiana border. You folks right now are under the gun. A plethora of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings are in effect. So we are looking at multiple concerns here. Besides the threat for tornadoes, there could be some large destructive hail, perhaps the size of golf balls or even higher, larger than that. We could also see some very strong straight line wind gusts and, of course, some heavy downpours and frequent vivid lightning. So just a whole variety of weather concerns going on. Here's a look at our radar once again. We still have many counties right now, just at least a handful of counties that remain under tornado warnings. So just kind of recapping this, a tornado warning right now still for Champaign County until 12:45. So that particular batch might be able to expire here in the next 60 seconds or so. But to the east of there, tornado warnings also continue for Coles, Douglas, Edgar, Vermilion County, officially going until 1:15 this evening or this morning. And then just south and west of there, that's where we saw an even more robust batch of thunderstorms that did prompt an actual confirmed tornado. And there we have the warning that continues now. This is for Coles and also northeastern sections of Cumberland County until 12:45. And that was the actual confirmed tornado. Okay, that one has now been allowed to roll off. So at this juncture in time, looks as if we only have just one main tornado warning area. So again, right now it's basically Coles, Douglas, Edgar, and Vermilion County, officially going until 1:15. As we zoom in closer, you can see all those strong thunderstorms ripping through the area. Again, very, very robust thunderstorms at this time. Hail producing, also quite a bit of lightning. So it's been a very active evening, to say the least. A lot of activity going on. Again, checking on some of the lightning, we've seen at least almost 120 light strikes here. So these thunderstorms are really quite energetic, packing a lot of punch here as they continue to rumble towards the east. Again, the main action right now is just to the north and east of Casey, to the east now of Charleston, and these thunderstorms continue to move very quickly off to the north and east. Let's put a tracker on some of these thunderstorms. This is what we're going to be dealing with over the next several minutes. As these thunderstorms move to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour, looks as if they could be bearing down on Paris 101. So just in the next few minutes. So heads up around Paris. These thunderstorms are in line to hit you, then eventually hitting Stratton, and then also to around Ross around 114. So some potent heavy-duty thunderstorms right now are still charging their way over eastern parts of our viewing area. So right now the main action continues to be right over along the I-57 corridor and just east of there. Let's take a closer look at this. Again, still looking at multiple counties, as you can see here, from near Watseka, Rantoul, still under severe thunderstorm warning. Champaign, still seeing some heavy-duty rain. We had some blinding downpours earlier, and of course we saw Carson Gordy out there weathering the storm there around the Champaign area, so it's been pretty rough there. And even down towards the I-70 corridor, just to the east of Effingham, still some severe thunderstorm warnings there. We were mentioning some of those thunderstorms trying to redevelop around Staunton and back over towards Montgomery and Macoupin County. They should stay below severe limits though, but they are still packing a little bit of a punch. But the biggest concern is where we have the tornado warnings, and we will continue to stay on the air here, keeping you informed as to what's been going on. And our tornado warning still remains in effect for Coles, Douglas, Edgar, and Vermilion County officially till 1:15. So again, this was Doppler radar indicated that there's some circulation taking place here. And on top of that too, we could also see some quarter-size hailstones. So this is the very latest now coming out of the Champaign area. You can see the wet camerons there because they are getting pelted by the rain. It's coming down pretty hard there around Champaign. So they are really getting bombarded by some rough weather right now. Now, if you live in an active area with the tornado warnings as around Coles and Cumberland, as we were mentioning, here are some safety tips to keep in mind. You want to go to the lowest level of your home. Stay away from windows. Of course, there could be quite a bit of flying debris. So one of the best things to do is to get into an interior room away from windows and always protect yourself from that flying debris. So pull out a comforter, pull out a blanket, something to cover yourself up. And also too, if it's available, put on maybe a football helmet or a motorcycle helmet, because that too can protect your head from any flying debris. So again, make sure that you're hunkered down into your safe place right now if you live in these counties, because again, a tornado warning right now has been issued. And this does include places like, as we were mentioning, around Coles and Cumberland counties. Here are some of the, again, under that tornado warning. And that does include northeastern Coles County, northwestern Edgar County, southern Vermilion, and also eastern Douglas County. These are all the counties right now under tornado warnings. So please take this seriously. The Doppler radar indicated a possible tornado was located near the city of Oakland, or about 12 miles north and east of Charleston, moving to the northeast at 60 miles per hour. So that's the area that we're watching very closely. Very, very strong thunderstorms in and around this area here. Very powerful thunderstorms. It's like this area right in here. Definitely very east of Charleston, seeing some of the stronger thunderstorms. Besides the tornadoes, there's also the chance to see some quarter-size hailstones as well. So just a heads up, these thunderstorms will likely be near Brockton, about, well, I should say, well, it already kind of hit that area around Brockton here about 12:45, but it looks as if they kind of already passed your area. So again, at this point, tornado warnings continue for northeastern Coles, northwestern Edgar, southern Vermilion, and eastern Douglas counties until 1:15. So we still have another few minutes regarding that particular complex of storms. Luckily, once we get past this, that's going to be pretty much it, because our weather should be calming down here as we enter into the weekend. Pretty much all these thunderstorms should be out of here by daybreak, so that's the encouraging news too. One thing of note though, even behind these thunderstorms, we'll still have some gusty winds. Much like we had today, before the thunderstorms even arrived, we had some really, really fierce wind gusts around the area, and we'll still have some very gusty winds tomorrow, although not as bad as what they had been. Here's our latest wind report now. Again, for the western part of the state, things are calming down, but we're still seeing some very, very gusty conditions over the eastern part of the state. Take a look at that. Champaign, in the last few minutes, reporting wind gusts up to 64 miles per hour. That can definitely cause issues with downed trees and power lines, so be extra careful out there, folks. Also, too, around Mattoon and Paris and around Terre Haute, we've had winds being gusty around 45 miles per hour. So a lot of strong winds to deal with for today, and we still have some active watches and warnings in effect. So again, just to recap, right now the tornado watch is basically for the eastern part of the state, mainly from around east of Decatur all the way over towards the Indiana border. And then we have our severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, and this does include multiple counties from Ford and Iroquois County all the way down through Effingham County right now under severe thunderstorm warnings. And then we have our tornado warnings as well in effect for those areas in red. And I just saw red pop up, so I think we've got a new tornado warning that just got posted. Just for a small sliver, the northeastern corner here of Champaign County. This is a brand new tornado warning, just got issued here. Again, as I was mentioning, it's for the extreme northeastern corner of Champaign County, and that tornado warning goes until 1:15. Radar indicated a possible tornado in that vicinity. So let's try to get a little bit more information regarding this. All right, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located very close to Gifford, or about 8 miles northeast of Rantoul, and this one is moving to the north very quickly at 65 miles per hour. And actually you can kind of see it when you look at the radar. You can see kind of a twisting motion. You can see that circulation that's taking place. Look at the general pattern here. You can see the spinning motion taking place right there. So that's what the Doppler radar was indicating, some twisting motion, and that's what in turn has prompted this latest tornado warning right now. And it does encompass a small chunk of northeastern Champaign County. So that's our latest tornado warning right now, in effect until 1:15. So some of the communities that might be impacted by this, we're going to be seeing areas, let's put a tracker on these things. We'll try to get a better idea as to what areas might be seeing some of this tornadic activity. So there's the thunderstorm right now that's producing a possible tornado moving to the northeast. So heads up if you live in Butler, maybe at 1:03 this morning, and around Pigeon Grove at 1:09, and it looks as if it might be moving over towards the Hoopeston area at 1:15 this morning, and then Milford about 1:22. So heads up, you are the next community that might be in line to see this tornadic activity as this thunderstorm continues to lift to the north and east. So we have that one tornado warning right now for Champaign County until 1:15, but then just south of there, still another tornado warning for many more counties. This latest other tornado warning is for Coles, Douglas, Edgar, and Vermilion County. That one goes until 1:15 this morning, and on top of the possibility for tornadic activity, also too some large hail, maybe quarter-size hailstones. So again, as you can see, the main action right now continues to be for areas along and just east of Interstate 57. But for folks around Springfield, Whitehall, Jacksonville, you can breathe a whole lot easier as the bad storms have now shifted to the east. So it's mainly impacting the eastern part of our viewing area. So again, just kind of recapping things. Here's what it looks like from our latest watches and warnings. In the areas in yellow, that still indicates a tornado watch, which officially goes until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then the areas shaded in orange, those are the severe thunderstorm warnings. And of course, the areas in red indicate tornado warnings. And if you are in that tornado warned area, it is so critical, so important to take in mind these safety tips. You want to stay away from windows. Go to an interior room. You want to go to the lowest level of your home. If you have a basement, that would be preferable. But if you don't have a basement, that's still okay. Just go to the lowest level of your home. and go to an interior room and stay away from windows and try to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you live in a mobile home, the best thing to do is to go to a sturdier structure that's a little bit more substantial than a mobile home. But again, definitely take it seriously, because with these tornado warnings, oftentimes you don't get much notice. So when the siren goes off, please do seek shelter immediately. Again, tornado warnings continue for a handful of counties right now over the eastern part of the state. From our radar vantage point, we are still seeing some very, very active weather. Again, you can see that we do have that warning that continues now for the extreme northeastern corner of Champaign County. That tornado warning until 1:15. And then just south of there, you head over towards around Slidell and around Young America, just south of Danville. Also a fairly large, expansive tornado warning that continues too. This one's for Coles, Douglas, Edgar, Vermilion counties, all until 1:15. So the next few minutes will be critical as we continue to monitor what's going on. And again, remember that whenever we're just entering the heart of severe weather season. And so it's very, very important to make sure that you do have multiple means of getting weather alerts, whether you have a NOAA radio, or of course, we're always telling you to download the Storm Team Weather app or the Fox Illinois Weather app, because at that point, you can actually get those push alerts sent directly to your phone. As long as you have your phone nearby, you're going to get those weather alerts, you're going to get those notifications, and you can definitely stay ahead of the game, because these thunderstorms oftentimes don't give you a whole lot of advance notice. So whenever that warning gets issued for your area, please take it seriously and please do seek shelter. So again, just to kind of recap, we do have that tornado continuing for northeastern Coles County, northwestern Edgar County, southern Vermilion County, and also eastern parts of Douglas County. All that tornado warning continues until 1:15. In our latest tower cam here coming out of the Champaign area, you can still see the raindrops coming down. It is the rain coming down sideways, wind-driven rain. It's still a really tricky situation out there. It's very nasty. You don't want to be outdoors, that is for sure. You are getting pelted by the wind and the rain. It has been a very, very active evening here across central Illinois. So again, we still have a handful of counties under tornado warnings that will continue for about the next 15, 20 minutes or so. Tornado warnings right now up in northeastern parts of Champaign County, and also farther to the south, Coles, Douglas, Edgar, and Vermilion counties continue to be under tornado warnings. Let's take a look at the hail. We haven't looked at the hail scope here lately to see if there's any. Well, appears to be some hail now just south of where the tornado warned area is. But there's some hail too in association with some of these thunderstorms. So multiple concerns, multiple weather hazards that are definitely taking place right now across the region. And let's take a closer look at the radar once again. Thunderstorms are still firing up out there, and we're still seeing some circulation. So any of these thunderstorms, and again, looking at the big broad picture, you can see that throughout that squall line, we're seeing little twisting sections. And it's within those twisting areas where those tornado warnings have been erupting. Here's our main batch of thunderstorms. We're talking about that this line of thunderstorms would be coming in as a squall line. But if you look very closely, you can see a twisting motion up here, up around Champaign County, more of a kind of twisting, turning motion here. So it's within that line of thunderstorms that we can get these little spin-offs, these little tornadoes forming, and indeed, that is what's been happening over the last several hours or so as we continue to monitor this very kind of volatile, very fluid situation, as these thunderstorms are still packing quite a bit of punch across the area. So we're still under tornado warnings right now for a few counties, which do include the extreme northeastern corner of Champaign County. It seems as if these thunderstorms don't have as much, it's not as concentrated as what it was earlier, but these thunderstorms, especially farther to the south, impacting Edgar and Vermilion County, they still appear to be packing quite a bit of a punch. Still under tornado warnings right now for Edgar and Vermilion counties until 1:15. So a lot of stormy active weather. It has been a rough evening, to say the least. And I'm not sure if Darren is available, if we can maybe send it back over to him for a little bit to give my voice a little bit of a break. But it's been a very, very active evening, to say the least. So we've got storms firing up here. Again, the good news, at least around Springfield and many of our western communities, things have really calmed down quite a bit, but that is certainly not the case here along the I-57 corridor heading over towards the Indiana border. Thunderstorms continue to fire up, and they are still packing quite a bit of a punch. So we still have warnings right now for Champaign County, northeastern Champaign County. The city itself around Champaign still getting the rain, but at least you're not under that tornado warning anymore. It's just the extreme northeastern corner of the state, or the northeastern corner of the county, I should say. But again, as these thunderstorms continue to propagate off to the northeast, a heads up because it looks as if they could be heading over towards the Hoopeston area, because this storm is moving very quickly off to the northeast. So a heads up around Butler, maybe shortly after the top of the hour. You too might be in line, along with Ash Grove at 121, and even Watseka. If the thunderstorm is still holding together, you too might be seeing some tornadic activity around 136. So brace yourselves. The thunderstorms are still coming in your direction. Whether or not they weaken, that's another thing. But I mean, they don't appear to be as potent as what they were earlier. Meanwhile, as we shift to the south, we certainly are still seeing more strong thunderstorms here. These are very much holding their own here. So right now, the worst of the worst seems to be just to the south of Danville and also to north of the Paris area, some stronger thunderstorms. And we still have our active tornado warning right now for Edgar and Vermilion County until 1:15. So a lot of activity going on. Very, very potent thunderstorms continue to pound at least east central sections of Illinois here. So we're not in the clear just yet. Just to recap though, this is kind of a one and done thing because once this line of thunderstorms moves through, certainly had our fair share of damage reports done today and a lot of reports. Okay, now we've got some new reports coming in. Just to kind of recap here, we've got a couple new reports here, damage reports coming in. This does confirm that indeed a tornado was in Coles County. An outbuilding was destroyed, and so that was that was in Coles County, and here back through Effingham County. There's a funnel cloud there in Effingham. So we have had tornadic activity. The busy weather persists. A lot of place around Darren Leeds' neck of the woods. We've got the thunderstorms that are continuing here over the east, and we also have Carson Gordy out there too in Champaign County tracking those storms. So let's send it back over to you guys.
It's nice to pretend not to be happy. So right now we're looking at the power lines. There are power lines down in Tolono. There's also power down in Rantoul. And also we've been checking Ameren. That's a utility company that supplies electricity and power to many people over in the central Illinois area. We do have some updates in Champaign. There's 234 people now without service. In the area around Tuscola, a little bit west, there's 4,078 people without services from Ameren at this time. Shelbyville still at 1,400 at this point. So we're around 6,000 people who have been affected by this weather. And obviously when I was out here a little bit earlier, it was really windy. I was trembling. I had to bring out a coat because we thought it'd be a lot rainier. Right now it has slowed down. Right now there's a little bit of drizzling, but it isn't the constant pouring, the high winds that we just experienced 20 minutes ago. But obviously people are still being affected. You know, around 6,000 people don't currently have service with Ameren. Also lines down Rantoul and Urbana. We'll continue to update you throughout the night. If you don't have the National Weather Service, you can download the Fox Illinois app to stay up to date about this weather. I'm Carson Gordy in Champaign. Back to you, Darren.
All right, yeah, thank you, Carson, for that. And as he mentioned, things calmer outside at this point in time. We're almost done. We still got that last line of severe thunderstorm warnings around parts of Douglas, Coles, Cumberland, Effingham counties, all of our counties that are along the Indiana border. Still a couple tornado warnings out there at this point in time. Right now, it looks like they just dropped the one that was around far northeastern Champaign County, but we have Vermilion County and Edgar County and pretty much Chrisman area. You guys are in the midst of it right now. So that tornado warning still remaining in effect until 1:15, so about the next 10 minutes, but radar indicated. So once again, we have not seen very many confirmed tornadoes in central Illinois. And again, that is a good thing, but we have been seeing more reports of damage starting to show up, as Cheryl just talked about. We did have that report coming in from Coles County, where we did have a tornado emergency about half an hour ago with confirmed tornado on the ground down there. But we have been kind of watching these storms weaken, strengthen slightly, and then weaken a little bit more. So signs that, again, we are almost done here in central Illinois. We can kind of breathe a little bit easier as we go in about the next half hour or so. But most of our far western communities, especially closer to, say, Sangamon County, Scott, Morgan, Cass counties, you guys have kind of been in the clear for the last several hours, but we're still dealing with a little bit more of that severe activity further off towards the east over here. Around and east of Interstate 57. Still with that tornado warning in northern Edgar County, southern Vermilion County, picking up on a little bit of some rotation, and it's going to be that cell that we can see south of Chrisman there in the pink. But this continues to push its way east and more northeastward, but the storms have kind of slowed down, sped up, slowed down and sped up once again. So we're going to try and take a look at some of the latest data here in just a second. Right, again, we're kind of between radar sites. We're just on the very outskirts of our Doppler radar over in Logan County in Lincoln, and then what we'd be starting to pick up over around Indianapolis's radar sites. So again, it gets a little bit more difficult as, yes, in the red here, this is all going away from Logan County, but even if we just kind of slightly make an adjustment, we'd start to then encroach upon our next area where we'd be seeing primarily green colors going towards that radar site over in Indianapolis. But does look like maybe our best area of rotation. You can kind of see, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here for you, just to the southeast of the Chrisman area, over in far northeastern Edgar County. See, like I said, we start to kind of overlap a little bit. If I can jump back over, it's very finicky, but I think it still kind of helps to pinpoint what I'm looking at right now. It's going to be this. So just west of Highland, Dana, over in western Indiana. But yeah, you notice that little gray area pretty much sitting right there on the Indiana border. But even if I kind of start to transition back over to our Lincoln radar, you can still pick up, see a little bit of some pink in there, but I think you're getting a decent indicator from what we are seeing going over towards our Indianapolis radar site. Still, it's late, so we're not getting a lot of storm reports trickling in, but we did have some new ones pop up in Champaign County. Our hail sizes, about 3/4 of an inch. They had it recorded at 3/4, 8/10 of an inch. But that was in Sidney in Champaign County, and that is just east of Champaign and south of St. Joe area and Ogden there along Interstate 74. Not a lot of reports to pass along to you after that cell got through Coles County over into Edgar County, kind of just barren over around Edgar and even into Vermilion counties. But once again, this is going to be some of the last of it that we are currently seeing. Once this line kind of starts to push a little bit further to the east, I think we're going to start to get a lot more of those severe thunderstorm warnings dropped. Taking a look around central Illinois right now, tornado watches still in effect around Piatt, Moultrie, Shelby, Effingham counties, upwards around Ford, Iroquois, Champaign, and everywhere to the east. But you can see around Decatur, DeWitt, Christian County, all our farther west counties, you guys are in the clear over there. I mean, things much calmer than they were several hours ago when you were first starting to kind of get that initial round of storms that were pushing their way through. So this is what we were kind of expecting with that storm timeline that we were talking about for the last couple of days. It was that 9 p.m. through pretty much 2 o'clock in the morning. We're a little past 1 a.m. here right now and still a little active, but things finally starting to calm down a little bit more. And we do still have that one tornado warning in effect in Edgar and southern Vermilion County. As far as folks over around Danville go, it looks like you guys will pretty much miss out on this. That cell still making its way to the south right now, but around 1 o'clock in the morning, we had that cell. It was located 17 miles south of Danville, and it's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. So likely just going to be a complete miss on Danville. Still likely going to be impacting Georgetown. Chrisman, you guys are probably still hearing some rumbles of thunder here and there, but I think some of the worst is already past you over there. But yes, just kind of making its way around that Indiana border. So again, far eastern central Illinois, we are just about finished. We've got 4 minutes left on that current tornado warning. And then essentially we're just going to be dealing with some thunderstorms, some rumbles of thunder here and there, and some gusty winds. Trying to see if we just got upgraded. I thought for a second we seen it get pushed to a tornado emergency, but I think it might just be the highlight coming around that storm polygon there. Yeah, I think that's what I was seeing. But it does give it a little bit of a pink shade, so better be safe than sorry to double check on that just to make sure we don't need to let folks know anything else. But yeah, just about done with all of this. Jumping over to our hail tracks. Looks like majority of it is currently working its way through southern Edgar County, starting to finally push its way over into far northwestern Vigo County and then Vermilion County in western Indiana. So again, central Illinois just about wrapped up with our first severe weather event of the year. But did still look like maybe some rotation, or you could kind of see if I could pop up our live radar. Where is that? There we go. So throw it in motion. And yeah, you can kind of see when those heavier bands of red were pushing through, a little bit of some spin, but even the heavier rainfall looks like it's kind of starting to die off at this point, and we're seeing just more moderate rainfall at this point in time. Does look like even a little bit of some back building over around southern Christian County. You guys are clear as far as the severe threat goes right now. You're no longer under tornado watch. That's been canceled for Christian County. But maybe hearing a little bit more rumble, thunder activity, some more rain making its way through for you guys. But don't want anybody to panic once again and think here comes round two. No, we're seeing things. You can see behind me, calm. We're drying out over there. But it did look like, yes, a little bit of some secondary activity, even kind of passed through Litchfield. And even that's making its way up to the northeast fairly quickly at this point in time. So we've got 1 minute remaining on that tornado warning. in southern Vermilion County, northern Edgar County, and again, now starting to see some of those tornado warnings extend over near the Rockville area in western Indiana. So we're going to give a check on what we are seeing with that here, but 30 seconds now left on Vermilion and Edgar counties. Just wanted to continue to give you a little bit of a countdown on what we are seeing. But this one kind of independent, but you can see hail sizes falling off. We are now at less than 3/4 of an inch. So that puts it slightly below severe criteria, but the winds are definitely that driving force. So that is why we still see severe thunderstorm warnings and likely also seeing some rotation, which is why we are getting that next tornado warning. So 2:13 Eastern Time, 1:13 Central Time. Tornado warning in south central Fountain County, Central Park County, in southeastern Vermilion County in west central Indiana. That is until 2:45 Eastern Time, 1:45 Central Time. Sorry, my math is getting mixed up right now. But severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Clinton, 16 miles to the north of Terre Haute, and still moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. You notice we've now seen that final tornado warning get canceled for Edgar, Vermilion County. So now attention kind of turning over into western Indiana. Like I said, things kind of weakening, strengthening, weakening, strengthening. We've been seeing them go back and forth a little bit more, especially over the last couple of hours. But biggest threat is going to be potential for a tornado with this. We're watching, like I said, the hail starting to drop off a little bit more, but radar is absolutely still indicating some rotation within that storm cell. Let's jump over and see what we've got. One final look, but this is what I would be kind of seeing, which is just to the southwest of Rockville, and yes, well north of the Terre Haute area. But again, not really expecting much more development happening. Storms definitely starting to weaken, and severe potential is starting to drop off. But we are clear here in central Illinois. Thank you all for staying with us this evening, and hopefully you can get some good sleep now that we do not have any reason to worry. And we're going to hold on to the winds tomorrow, but calmer conditions headed our way. And we will see you this weekend.